Hello, my Cybies. What is up? Hopefully this is going to be a more casual stream today. We shall see, this video has been kind of floating around since it released a month ago, and it just seemed kind of off to a lot of people, including me. So, we're gonna look at, everyone just, like, there was a few people assuming I'm gonna be mean automatically. No, but there is an off-base, Steven Universe rant within this video, I am told. So, and I have a ping on Discord. Let me see if that's Kaiser. It indeed is Kaiser. Kaiser has sent me a full-ass comic. So let's check this out. I'm just gonna get it all up in my browser here. It's another Dustborn joke. If you don't know, I replayed Dustborn on the week of its anniversary, and not replayed, I played it for the first time on the anniversary of its release, and is a source of many memes. A source of many, many memes. Okay, so here we go. And I'm leaving my music on because I love this song. So there's a broken down car on the side of the desert highway. And I'm like, car broken down. Middle of nowhere, my phone batteries just died. Great. I have no idea what is wrong with my car or even where to start looking. That is accurate. I think it's pretty obvious why I have no idea. Anybody can tell just by looking at me. Why would I ever know a thing about cars? Yes. It's because I'm an artist, not a mechanic. Duh. Oh no, it's Justice, the super hyper racist fascist police. They're oppressive and they hate gay people. Every time they turn up and make sure to murder someone, especially if that someone is not a fascist like them. Well, look what we have here. Seems like we got an innocent civilian all alone with a broken down car and a dead phone. Drawing a lot of attention, such colorful stickers on the back of her window. Don't worry, Justice knows exactly what to do with people like you. And then they help me. And once the mechanic has filled out the forms, just send them through and you'll get partial reimbursement. This literally happened in the game, too. Like, their bus broke down and the evil fascists asked if they were okay and offered to call a tow truck for them and then didn't suspect them of anything. Yeah. This literally happened in the game.
He car sent a super chat. The way you looked at the cars me ATM with my PC.
Now see, PCs I can do, but cars? No. Anyway, onto Bubbs. So this is the thumbnail of this video we're gonna watch today, and just immediately it's just kind of off to me because what tropes are these depicting exactly? This doesn't seem to correlate with, like, any sort of trend or, like, well-worn trope. What are you doing?
Saffron sent a super chat. Your Tumblr is a mess. Are you going to at some point do a video on this whole Ponder and Showy situation?
No. Why would I? I talk about media. It's not my fault people keep sending me anon asks on my side blog. I specifically have to quarantine drama shit. So anyway, yeah, so what tropes are these? I mean, maybe this is, like, the lead of a harem anime? But, like, this just looks like you're saying, like, the preps don't understand me, Raven Dementia, Raven Way, whatever the fuck her name is. And then what is even this? Is Plants vs. Zombies over here? Like, so, just from the thumbnail alone, I found this video just kind of off. So, and a lot of people suggested it and voted for it. So we're gonna watch it and see what's up. That's all. I'm not threatening or anything. I'm not. Yeah. And here's the comic page I'm working on. I have made some progress. Spinell is not having a good time, so I'm going to be probably inking a lot today and finishing. I didn't even draw this top panel yet. But I have a method to my madness, kind of, sort of, maybe. Been doing a lot of graphic design for my spooky season stuff. As a reminder, I am going away from the 24th to the 4th. So we'll be missing 2 Wednesday streams. So this is why I'm kind of making up for it with a bunch of streams this week. I won't be streaming tomorrow, but I do have something very special for you guys on Friday. So look forward to that. Anyway, let's get into the video. It's 57 fucking minutes long. Hopefully I don't have to pause Andy too much. We might skip around a bit. Please support the official video. I don't usually like to watch videos I'm not, like, explicitly out to criticize. So... Well, yeah, again, this is like, not me just, like, going in guns blazing here for once. It's just gonna be like, let's see what the arguments are, and, see if I agree or not. The other thing that seems off about this is, it's called art tropes that annoy me, but it seems to mostly be about writing tropes. So, like, you would think art tropes would mean, like, trends in character design or art style or something, you know? Like, complaining about, like, ring lighting or something. I don't know. Anyway.
Hello, my name is Bubbs.
Hello.
I'm an artist, and I like to hear myself talk. And today...
Same. What was that about?
Ugh, that was weird. Whew.
That was weird. Why did you edit that into the video? Would you guys like me more if I had a more dynamic talk sprite like this?
I do feel a lot better, though. Alright.
Is that the joke? You changed your sprite?
Hello,
Okay.
my name is Bubbs, I'm an artist, and I like to hear myself talk, and today I'd like to hear myself talk about art tropes that really get on my...
I think this person is they, them, just so you know. This isn't a full VTuber model, this is still a talk sprite. It's not, like, piloted by the person, so it's not, yeah, them, so just keep that in mind.
Nerves. Of course, this isn't the first time I've done this, but it will be a better time that I've done this.
Oh, yeah?
Pretend that sentence sounded good. I've actually been working on the script for a while because I realized I had more to talk about. Shocking, right? I had more to say about a given subject. Perish the thought. Still, there really
Starting to see
are
why this is
so
57
many
minutes
common
long.
things in writing and design and all that, where while I can understand why it's kind of a default for lots of projects, I am still completely exhausted on the concept. Like, it's not a moral affront to God or anything, but it does displease
I'm
my
on the wrong
sensibilities.
layer. That's
And
what's
what better
happening
way
here.
to handle my annoyance and discomfort?
Some last name sent a super chat. Did you hear that Stargent apologized to Lily?
I did hear that, but I don't know a lot about Star Giant. I mean, no matter what the ACC tells you, you guys, I am not part of them. And I have no desire to be, no matter how much they keep trying to drag me in and pretend that I'm a part of them.
Than to yap about it on the internet. Isn't that what it's for? As a heads up, for this video...
Star Giant was Mr. Enter's worst editor, and also the person who owned the Discord server that Rosa chick was in, that Lio Convoy, like, berated for hours on end, and went after Rosa because he couldn't get at Star Giant, so, and then now they're back. They are a special kind of user, so, but again, I don't really know much about Star Giant. Moon Princess, we are watching this video by Bubbs that came out a month ago that just seemed a little off to me. And a lot of people just kind of wanted me to look at it. So this is neutral react, not a bully stream. I'm not going for the throat right away. I don't always do that.
You know, this particular batch of tropes are more about story stuff rather than strictly visual art tropes. I don't know if
Yeah, why did you call it, like, art tropes, then? You should have been writing tropes. That's confusing, Bubbs.
that matters to you, but the title
I do like their background, though. I like the color scheme. It's very cute.
could have led you to believe a different reality, so I want to clarify in case it does. Still, if you think about it, art is actually a very broad term which does include writing, so
Yeah,
it
sure.
isn't false
The
advertising
arts.
simply for the sake of having a consistent title scheme, and you can't be mad at me.
Okay, they're calling themselves
Scones
out on
and Jam
it, so...
sent a super chat. Sigh hearing about the ACC randos. Who is this man? Tegan?
Who is this man, Tegan? And only my Dragon Age homies are gonna get that one. I have many niches on my channel.
Or, I guess you can, but that would be a little silly of you, to be honest. Speaking of people being silly and getting mad at me, I
being
have
silly
a
right now.
disclaimer. If you're a returning viewer, you probably don't need to hear this, but if you're new around these...
The QA signboard sent a super chat. Let me guess. Mary Sue, toxically, fan service, etc.
I don't know, because like I said, the thumbnail is so confusing to me, because it's like, what tropes are these? What? This is not anything recognizable to me.
Play your parts. Firstly, hi, hello, welcome. And secondly, the people that were here last time were naughty, so now I'm obligated to say the following. Everything in this video is my opinion. I will provide examples of what I'm talking.
I mean, I know, I get that's annoying, but comment section got a comment section, you know? I don't think you really need to have that kind of disclaimer. And I also like their art style. It's very chunky. I like chunky.
About and explain my reasoning for my opinions. This is not equivalent to me saying that the pieces of media from which I pull examples are terrible, especially since I often
We shall see about that, Bubbs.
pull from things that I really love. It is also not equivalent to me stating my reasoning as objective fact that should be true for everyone. I am only stating what I know is true.
Okay, yes, this should be a baseline we'll skip this part, because, again, watch the whole video if you're interested. Oh, so there is something about Plants vs. Zombies in here. Okay. Stop at the very end of the disclaimer.
From your fun. At the end of the day, this is all for the sake of fun for you and for me. And if there is a chance that this will make you upset, I encourage you to leave. You can come back.
This is also fun for me to assess your points and respond to them. So keep that in mind, people watching.
Some other time. You will not hurt my feelings.
Okay.
There.
Cool. Good to know.
Now that's all out of the way. Let us boogie right along to our very
first trope, might be like the first person who's chill with me reacting to them.
Okay,
so
I know I'm starting off in a really odd place, but please, hear me out.
It is.
While there is plenty of zombie-related media that I either currently enjoy or otherwise got a lot of enjoyment out of before the writers gave up, as a concept, zombie apocalypse is just kind of lame to me. Don't get me wrong, the idea of zombies is really cool from a narrative perspective. These monsters are people, twisted into lifeless husks that will turn on their loved ones and fellow man with animalistic rage, acting on the whims of a virus or sometimes fungus that exists only to replicate. That is a chilling concept, especially if the reason for it is unknown and or invisible. Still, I cannot get over how unrealistic the concept is. I won't beat a dead horse. The internet has already discussed many times over that a bag of decay.
Okay, it's not supposed to be realistic, though. Like, the point of, like, almost every single zombie thing is that man is the true monster. The zombies are always just kind of a plot device. It's the drama between the survivors and the things they'll do to survive that are always the point of a zombie thing. Or if it's Dead Rising, the point is to dress up in silly costumes and just take a chainsaw to a bunch of zombies, which is also very fun. But usually it's still the theme is man is the real monster.
Haying meat shambling through a hot Georgia summer would turn into a smelly goo pile long before—
You know, I miss Zombies Ate My Neighbors. That was a really good game.
Nick Wolf sent a super chat. You heard it, chat. Silence them chunky.
You see, I always say, you know you're a good streamer when chat bullies you.
Coral's little sister managed to unlock the speech skill tree. But I pose to you what I feel is a much more compelling argument. Weapons. Maybe you can convince me that something about whatever is creating the zombies is able to keep them from decaying, and after watching how people reacted in 2020 to a certain virus, I can definitely be convinced that—
Well, they're always decaying. That's the point of a zombie. It's a shambling corpse.
Lots of people would become zombies if for no other reason than ignoring the advice of medical professionals, government officials, and also common sense.
Well, I mean, that's a bit of a dumb take, because usually with zombie stuff you get bitten and turn into a zombie, or if it's something like 28 days later, you just need a drop of blood in your eye to get the fucking rage virus. You know, the other point of zombie apocalypse things is it's so easy for the virus to spread, you know? So that's the other terrifying thing of it, so there's just so many, like, undead walking around.
The QA sign board sent a super chat. Godzilla isn't real because of the square feet law head ace.
Yeah, I know, like, of all things, why would you just complain zombies aren't realistic when that's not even the point of them, you know? Like, the zombies themselves are not what's horrific, it's the situation, it's surviving that situation that's horrific.
What I cannot be convinced of is that zombies would pose any kind of threat that could not be solved with humanity's proclivity for creating instruments of mass destruction.
Or it could just be like the end of Shaun of the Dead, where they just they just use zombies for like cheap labor.
I am absolutely not posing the argument here that there could never be a truly devastating zombie-related event that results in mass casualties, especially in conjunction with these instruments of mass destruction, and the consequences could be devastating on a global scale. But zombies shutting down the entire world? Unless it is set way in the past, I think it is pretty reasonable to assume news of some freaks popping out of the graveyard will get out there before too much damage is done.
Dana_Brain sent a super chat. I feel this zombie argument can be applied to anything. Vampires aren't realistic, so I don't like it.
Yeah, but like, that's the whole point, though.
Replica_Rabbit sent a super chat. Zombie is real for me, damn it.
Well, yeah, but like, the whole point of a zombie outbreak is that it spreads quickly. It spreads more quickly than anyone can do anything about it, because all it takes is one bite and somebody turns. Or if it's like the Walking Dead universe, people turn into zombies no matter how they die. You know? That's how that got fucked so quickly. Every dead person becomes a zombie no matter what. So, yeah, I think we could get very quick. I mean, do you know anything about plagues? Even in modern times, you just mentioned COVID. How quickly that spread, how many people it killed. Now imagine if every single person who died of COVID came back as a zombie and bit people and turned them into zombies. It would get out of control pretty quick. Are you saying, oh, they should just nuke a whole city then, with possibly survivors inside it? Like, yeah, America probably would do something like that.
Pete Carter sent a super chat. Meanwhile, that fungus that takes over ants.
Yeah, which is what the Last of Us zombie outbreak is based on. Loosely. Where you didn't miss much. Bubbs is talking about zombies and kind of annoying me, because I really like zombie stuff. It might surprise you. Mostly games. I love Dead Rising, I love Project Zomboid. I love shit like that.
Especially considering that most of the time you can put that thing back to sleep if you just smack its head hard enough with a blunt object. I mean, I personally grew up taking those suckers out with garden plants, so...
Oh, yeah, so is what your first exposure to zombie stuff was Plants vs. Zombies? You know, a cutesy, child-friendly game? I mean, I don't know if that should be your baseline.
Miss Jasmine sent a super chat. I mean, I don't like zombies/zombie apocalypse stories cause I personally think they're boring. I like the comedies, but as a horror monster? Meh.
That's fair, but like I was saying earlier, it's not the zombies that are scary, it's the survivors that are scary. That's usually the point. I just want to show the zombie game I played when I was a kid. Zombies ate my neighbors for the Sega Genesis. Because I'm old! No, I didn't mean to go to shopping. Well, there was the cover, which is not what the game looked like at all. I played this game so fucking much as a kid. Me and my brother. It was a, let's look at some of these images. It was a top-down game where you play as two very 90s kids. Very, very 90s kids. And it was, I guess it was kind of a roguelike? I guess it was kind of a roguelike. Which I'm not as big of a fan of these days. My brother, because it was two-player, my brother and I played this game all the fucking time. It was great. So this was probably my first, like, zombie thing, personally. I'm just, little side tangent there. I just wanted to talk about Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
I do understand that this is probably bias, born of growing up in a country with quote-unquote intruder drills at school, but come on, find a firearm, a hunting crossbow, maybe throw...
I mean, we gotta throw in some political topicalness, of course.
Throw a can of beans at its skull, that might work. If all that
funny.
Requires a little too much precision, vehicular manslaughter could be a viable strategy. If an entire city is overrun, engage bomb strategy. I feel like, realistically, we could take care of zombies faster than they'd be able to
Oh yeah, you are American like me, I guess nuke the city is the sensible option.
Folks. Zombies, to my knowledge, cannot self-replicate. I've yet to see a zombie, and I don't know that they'd be...
What do you mean they can't self-replicate? They replicate by biting other people and turning them into zombies! That's all they do is replicate!
capable of mitosis. So if you stop letting people turn, you run out of zombies. Boom.
How do you stop that? That's the issue.
I am, of course, oversimplifying and generalizing things here.
Yeah.
There are many story reasons that you can add to your world.
I mean, not even that. You don't really even seem to understand the genre, the point of it.
QA Signboard sent a super chat. What I like about zombies in fiction is when the zombie is someone we care about. I like it when they emphasize that the zombies used to be people no less human than the protagonists.
Yeah, you get that in a lot of zombie media, too, like on Our Friend Turns or something. You see that in The Walking Dead, too, to an extent. But not the show, the games. I didn't like the show. I prefer the games vastly.
It gets around the believability problems above. Maybe everyone is infected and the illness only activates when you kick the bucket, so there's always a danger. Maybe the government was doing evil bioengineering and they're intentionally covering up information to cover their hides. And also see how this all works out. Maybe zombies are not actually a fictional concept already, and so no one has any idea what this could be. Take into account that the enemy would be your coworker.
You rarely see a zombie piece of media that
Jack
does
Thorso
that,
sent
though.
a super chat. The bomb the city point is legit bad. Return of the Living Dead. Fire. Bombs cause the virus to enter the atmosphere and spread further.
Oh, so a zombie property has already answered that question, of course. But like, I've never seen a zombie thing, game, movie, show that goes, oh wow, there are zombies just like in the movies. Except like maybe like an episode of like The Simpsons Treehouse of Horror or something. Like that would be really obnoxious if a piece of media decided to be that self-aware, you know?
Workers, neighbors, family, and not some kind of wild animal or nameless monster, and now you're dealing with people very unwilling to pull the trigger. Plus, there's all that zombie media that buffs the zombies so that they're actually more effective threats than they would have been while alive, turning them into spore spewers or acid spitters, which actually does catch my interest a little more.
Spore spewers, which would replicate Bubbs! That also counts as replication! You meant reproduction, which no, but yeah, replication, yes, the virus replicates. That is what viruses do.
Than your average zombie affair. Still, I have my doubts that global reaction time would be slow enough that zombies would be able to end human civilization as we know it.
That's fair.
I think I'd be less
That's fair, like the 28 sequels are... Well, I don't know about the new one. I saw the second one with Robert Carlyle in it, which was okay, but I heard the new one has Danny Boyle back, though, and I really like Danny Boyle, so I don't know, maybe I'll watch it.
Convinced that a zombie apocalypse is not really possible if it wasn't for the fact that the genre relies very heavily on living humans to maintain the threat, specifically by being stupid as hell or evil as hell. I get that it's realistic that if the world went to shit, humanity will be its own worst enemy. There would be a brutal competition for scarce resources, and some people just suck. That's just how the cookie crumbles.
That's the point.
Still, when zombies are supposed to be scary, it's a little goofy that after the initial, zombies kind of panic subsides, zombies rarely get kills unless people are actively ignoring the precautions.
Well, again, yes, the zombies are not the actual scary thing. It's the survivors and what they might do to keep surviving, you know? And that's every zombie thing ever is about man is the true monster, which I've repeated myself several times on that, but you're also repeating yourself, so there.
They have already learned not to ignore. I guess people dying to stupidity in horror or horror-adjacent media isn't exactly unique to zombies, but still...
People die of stupidity in real life all the time.
28 sequels don't exist. First movie is a perfect movie.
I wouldn't call it a perfect movie. It's got like some, you can see crew members in some shots even, but it is a good movie, and I really like Danny Boyle as a director. Sunshine is one of my favorite movies ever.
QA Signboard sent a super chat. All I know about 28 years later is that zombie who was hung like a horse. Also, I doubt the average person could survive a zombie swarm.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, when I did see the second movie, it was in an empty theater and I was kind of drunk, but I still remember it not being very good.
Individual zombies are rarely much of a threat and won't end up racking up victim after victim.
Yeah, but it's when you have a whole crowd of them that the problem arises. Like, dude, again, I play a lot of Project Zomboid. I haven't played it recently, but I've played a lot of Project Zomboid, and I'm very, very proficient at killing groups of at least 15 zombies with just a baseball bat. But once you get a whole crowd around you, it becomes very hard not to get dragged down and bitten, you know? And I assume that would be in real life as well. When you have like 30, 40, 50 zombies swarming you, what the fuck chance do you have?
The living humans. I mean, come on. If you're anything like me and had a neglectfully permissive parent that allowed you to watch the Resident Evil films as a child, the stuff that stuck with you is everything that went down inside the spooky government facility, specifically that shit with the lasers, and also
yeah, those
how
movies
hot
are pretty
Mila Jovovich is.
stupid.
And that one even has cool zombies. When people
It has
ask you what
Wesker.
the scariest forces are in The Walking Dead, nobody thinks of the namesake of the show. They think of these motherfuckers. Rightly so.
Yes, because man is the real monster. The zombies are just the conflict that everyone is surviving. That is literally the point of every zombie thing.
Sent a super chat. The best zombie movie is Reanimator.
I don't think I've actually seen that one.
So, but unlike
Again, it's more zombie games I'm into, but
in Resident Evil, neither of these goons even had anything to do with why the zombie apocalypse even started. They're just capitalizing on what's already happened.
because that's
Just
what
really internalized.
because that's what would happen. It's
Nicholas
realistic.
Tyson sent a super chat. Also, Zombieland is about having fun, guns, General Motors SUVs, found family, and Woody from Cheers took a real dark turn after the bar closed.
Yeah, Zombieland was pretty interesting. Zombieland feels like playing Project Zomboid, honestly. It's the same kind of tone. But, I mean, I didn't like the Walking Dead show so much, mostly because it's kind of sexist, but I really like the Telltale games.
The QA signboard sent a super chat. Have you seen Train to Busan?
No, but I have heard of it, and I think I did mean to watch it someday, but I say that about a lot of things, don't I? I have to be in the right headspace to start a movie or a show.
That the most iconic and scary things within The Walking Dead stopped being The Walking Dead after, like, season 4. Side note...
Okay, so are your only zombie property references The Walking Dead, Plants vs. Zombies, and the Resident Evil movies? Which are kind of a stretch, because Resident Evil's just weird. It's its own thing.
I'd like to start a petition for Jeffrey Dean Morgan to stop being really scary and really mean to Stephen Yin during season finales of shows. It's only happened twice now, to my
That was a
knowledge.
good
Sent
joke.
super chat. 40 zombies? I'm gonna walk in a circle with two 1911s like Black Ops taught me to.
Oh, there you go. At least in Project Zomboid, you can outrun the zombies at normal walking speed, unless some asshole has set the settings so they can turn into runners at any moment.
Knowledge, but a Doofenshmirtz meme. Secondary side note, the amount of crossover from the Walking Dead and Invincible cast is absolutely silly. They've even started to borrow from other AMC shows recently.
Oh yeah, Aaron
And
Paul's
Michael
gonna be in
Mouse
it.
is there. Now, before you argue that they're actual characters and therefore it's an unfair comparison, yeah, I'll agree that it's a bit of an uneven playing field, but that's actually another issue I have with the genre and not a reason for me to be more charitable to it. Unless we're dealing with the zombie of an allied character that we've already gotten to know, there's rarely all that much to dig into. They're all just nameless and faceless bags of meat after a while.
Yeah, again, because the zombies aren't the point. I mean, look at the end of Telltale's Walking Dead Season 1. I mean, Lee just gets bit out of nowhere from a zombie he didn't see. And it's over, you know?
Cryohazard sent a super chat. Resident Evil was cheesy action if I want to see someone do a backflip on a zombie. That's what I want to do. Night of the Living Dead is the best bet.
Night of the Living Dead is the
Nicholas Tyson sent a
basically
super chat.
quintessential zombie
Return of the
thing, yeah.
Living Dead is also great.
and that's the one that basically established the convention of man is the true monster. Well, I guess I Am
Dana
Legend did
_
that,
Brain
but...
sent a super chat. What I like about zombie media is it's so versatile. Is it a comedy or horror? A romance? Zombies can be anything.
Zombies are just a convenient plot device to put the characters in a post-apocalyptic survival situation, most of the time. Yeah, I guess I Am Legend was really the first man is the true monster. I always feel like the monsters in I Am Legend are more vampires, though. But yeah, the whole point of I Am Legend is he was the last uninfected human, and so he was the monster killing them. That's why he is legend!
Morbid, but it's how it goes. I think maybe my main issue with zombies is that they have an expiration date, not just because they're actively rotting. No, I mean more in a horror sense. The thing about horror is that it relies on things being unexpected, surprising. If you know your enemy, I mean,
zombies come around again and again and again. They get popular for a while, then it goes away, then it gets really popular again. Like Data was just saying, zombies are so versatile as a way to get a plot going and to put a bunch of people in a survival situation where anything can happen. And we do have the different takes on zombies. There's you get bit and you turn into a zombie. There's The Walking Dead, everyone is infected. There's the Rage virus zombies, the Last of Us zombies.
Sent a super chat. Wesker wearing cat ear headphones. Let me clarify something for you, Chris. It's not a sped up track. It's called Nightcore.
I will say, the guy who played Wesker in the movies, he understood the, he understood the assignment.
Fear factor comes down a lot, and zombies are, unfortunately, pretty damn predictable by nature. Unless we're dealing with—
No, they're not, though, really.
The QA signboard sent a super chat. Remember that time in the 2010s when everything was zombie-related for a brief moment in pop culture?
Yep. Lots of zombies. Again, it comes in cycles, but like I remember, one thing, I did watch the first 2 seasons of The Walking Dead show, and I remember one issue they had was a zombie stuck down a well. Now their drinking water is infected, and they have to deal with the zombie. That was a unique issue. Zombies can be anywhere. Like I said, Lee, at the end of The Walking Dead Season 1, there's just a zombie lying under some plywood he didn't see. It jumps out and bites him. It was just, he wasn't being careful enough. And it can happen, you know, and that was it. He's a dead man, you know? They're not predictable at all. They could pop up anywhere. They could, you know...
With some modified zombies, we're up against corpses that don't grow or adapt or learn. They don't change tactics,
Moon
and
Princess
they have
sent a super chat. First super chat ever.
Hey, thank you and welcome.
Hikaru sent a super chat. I'll admit COD zombies is predictable and boring.
Have I had one stream lately where COD zombies was not mentioned at some point in the chat? Seems to be happening a lot lately.
One goal, which also means that generally speaking, the threat level of zombies is entirely dependent on catching the victim off guard. As such, once your guard is high enough and you've learned all of what—
again, the stress of keeping your guard up 24/7, you're gonna slip up at some point. It's inevitable. I mean, again, not to gush about Project Zomboid this entire time, but the whole point of Project Zomboid is you will die. It's only a matter of time. It's just how long can you survive before your character inevitably dies. Except in multiplayer, where we kind of cheat a little bit, but it's more fun that way.
What they can do, the threat is gone, and then zombies are just kind of a backdrop. They become relegated to a weapon used by other threats. Maybe an obstacle akin to a natural disaster rather than any kind of active entity. And at that point,
convention
I'm not
of the
sure why
genre,
they're
Bubbs.
even here still. If you want to tell a story about the after-apocalypse, why still have hordes of the undead? So I can be disappointed if a character dies what is now the lame way? If I'm gonna suspend my disbelief and buy into something that will wipe out the human race, I'd rather do it for a concept that feels a bit more actively terrifying in the long term.
And again, how is this an art trope? You don't even understand the conventions of the zombie genre. How is this art tropes? I knew this video just seemed off.
In story and in visuals. Intelligent life from another planet wishing to conquer ours. Eldritch cosmic terrors from beyond the stars that—
Those are 2 completely different genres so you just would prefer a completely different genre. That's okay. You don't have to like zombies, but at least understand what you're criticizing.
Wish to eat our minds. Demon armies from hell waging war against holy creation.
Which can also
Some kind
be
of
zombies.
Terrifying animal species we've poked the nest of. A secret race of mole people that hate the surface dwellers for potentially valid reasons.
These are all way different genres.
Maybe that stuff will feel a little less grounded in reality. There are plenty of viruses capable of hijacking—
Wasn't your fucking point at the beginning that zombies weren't realistic enough for you, and now you're saying, yeah, well, these other suggestions might seem too out there, but, I mean, what point are you even trying to make your way to here? I'm confused.
People's nervous systems that actually exist, whereas I'm not sure.
Dana_Brain sent a super chat. Okay, Bubbs. Watch the Quiet Place movies then. Instead we have aliens filling the zombie role.
They basically do, don't they? Yeah.
Neo Kaiser sent a super chat. In Stubbs the Zombie, Stubb rises from his grave because he misses his girlfriend. He gets revenge by dancing, and pissing in the town's water supply.
Is that an Australian movie? That sounds amazing, though.
On Cthulhu yet. Still, I think any of those are just a more interesting vessel to explore an apocalyptic event with.
Okay, so you prefer different apocalyptic genres than the zombie one, but everything you're saying about the zombie genre just doesn't make any sense. Because you think the monster is the point when it's not. It's man is the true monster. You even brushed right up against that point where you're like, oh, all the villains in The Walking Dead are actual humans who aren't zombies, and it's like, yes, that's the point!
But hey, I still love Glenn and Abraham. Yes, the start of Season 7 was a bad day for me. And Clem, and Kenny, and Lee, and I will never be tired of my Tank to Shrek conversion mod for Left 4 Dead 2. Okay. Enough about zombies, though. On to the next trope.
Okay.
Poor, ugly thing, you.
Ugly
Just
bad
kidding.
guy, pretty
I lied.
hero.
It's called Action Time. If you've enjoyed...
Okay, you're not talking about this? Because this is an actual trope. Where you make the bad guy have, like, ugly, exaggerated features and the hero's
Nicholas
pretty.
Tyson sent a super chat. Stubbs the Zombie is an American video game.
Oh, it is. Okay, thank you. It's a video game? I can piss in the water supply in a video game?
Miss Jasmine sent a super chat. Someone in chat mentioned why don't they call zombies zombies anymore, and it made me remember a random video I saved. Posted in vids and memes in Discord.
That's a good point. They try to avoid it, probably because it sounds
Darn
cheesy.
Chandra sent a super chat. If they want zombie media that's more focused on the monsters, get into Dead Space. Many more variants and more focus on body horror.
I need to play Dead Space one of these
sent a
days.
super chat. There are horror movies where zombies are the main threat, like Crack.
Yeah, so they just don't understand the genre. That's really the issue there. You know? You're right, though. It's rare to see... They'll call them walkers or the living dead or whatever. I mean, even Night of the Living Dead, though, was called that. So, I think zombie is like a misuse of a word from voodoo, which also might be why people try to avoid it. I mean, it's a fun word, but zombie does kind of sound cheesy when you say it. And if you use zombie, it would indicate there are, like, zombie movies known to the people who are actually experiencing a zombie apocalypse, which, again, is kind of obnoxiously self-aware. So I can see why people wouldn't want to do that, you know? And they were called ghouls in Night of the Living Dead. Well, I think another thing in The Walking Dead, I think everybody had a different name for them. Like, there was, like, regional names for zombies, which I kind of like that, too, because that would happen. People would call them different things.
Enjoyed listening to my yapping so far. I'd really appreciate if you drop a like, maybe consider...
We're gonna interrupt with a little subscribe to me. Would you guys like me if I did this? Let's skip that, and let's get to the actual topic.
Nobody hurt anybody's feelings. Cool. Anyway.
Okay.
If I sat down and really racked my brain, I'm actually pretty confident that I could come up with at least 100 different instances of hero and villain pairs where the hero is hot and the villain is not.
Yes.
Weak Freak Animation sent a super chat. Tropes are good as the base before adding to it.
So now we're finally getting into an actual art trope after talking about zombies incorrectly for like 15 minutes. So yeah, this is kind of a archaic trope, I would say. It's easy visual shorthand to make the bad guy ugly and the good guy pretty, but that also reinforces ideas of, like, attractive people are naturally more virtuous, you know, which is problematic in its own way, yes?
It happens in and out of live action.
Super coming. Guy, you guys are very generous today, thank you.
Super chat. So their main complaint is that zombies aren't realistic enough, but then they recommended to add a cosmic horror spin? I confused.
No, I think they were just saying that cosmic horror is superior to zombies, but that might be not as realistic. But you also said zombies aren't realistic. What was even the point of all of that? Again, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm really not. But it's a confusing point.
Happy Chapter 100 sent a super chat. Vincent Price Best I Am Legend Fight Me W. Smith.
Oh, yeah. They ruined the Will Smith one. They changed the ending. It's stupid.
Kitten Fart sent a super chat. Speaking of zombies, say hello to my cat. Her name is Zombie. My other is named Twitchy.
Hello, Zombie the cat.
Action, though, I feel the trope is more...
Oh, Garbo, so far, it seems Bubbs doesn't really understand the conventions of the zombie genre, so we just sat through that. Now we're gonna talk about ugly people.
Scones and Jam sent a super chat. The first Shrek is a wonderful Beauty and the Beast story. I love that Fiona is still beautiful, even as an ogre, and she's happier.
Oh yeah, because like the original Shrek was just aiming like a fucking cannon right at Disney's conventions, because Disney had just had the Disney Renaissance of the 90s, where every single movie was pretty, young woman, ugly, bad guy, and she gets married in the end. That was like every single fucking movie Disney put out in the 90s.
more easily identifiable in cartoony media or even narration-based media like books.
Yeah, for
and every time it happens,
kids,
it's probably one of the least challenging things that a story can do. Granted, not every story needs to be challenging, but I get a lot more value out of art that actually tries to make me think a little bit, I guess. Now, obviously, I understand why this is done. Character design is storytelling, and making a character either appealing or unappealing to look at can act as a powerful visual indicator of whether you should like them or not. I also don't exactly mind how often the villain characters who look conventionally unattractive look that way because of their evil. They could be monstrous or haggard because they've been corrupted by dark magic or something else along that same vein. It's not an inherently bad idea, however, I just think it's kind of worn out storytelling device. For ages, media has taught the average person that being conventionally attractive has lots to do with how good of a person you are.
And I mean, that just harkens back to biases in real life, too. You know, pretty privilege and all of that. You're more likely to listen to and believe people who are attractive. It's a bad habit we have as people, I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm agreeing with this part so far.
Disney and Pixar are chock full of examples of the pretty hero and ugly villain pairing. Ariel versus Ursula, Aladdin versus Jafar, Tiana versus Facilier, Hercules versus Hades, Bob versus Syndrome, the Queen of Hearts versus Alice. Despite the fact that I'd be down to clown with plenty of the villains I just listed, don't you dare judge me, it is very easy to see that, at least from a comparative standpoint, the protagonists get the lion's share of conventionally attractive features. The comparison can also be seen in things like in how Kronk gets a chance to redeem himself while the far less conventionally attractive Yzma is just purely and unchangeably evil.
I mean, she does turn into a cute little kitten at the end, so what does that mean?
And, of course, this is just one media conglomerate. There are countless examples once you start to look out at the vast expanse of movies, shows, books, comics. Time and time again, hot equals good, ugly equals bad, and it's just stale. It's also just weird to teach your audience that with scars and deformity and differences tends to come a lower moral character, and it's a crappy message no matter how old your audience happens to be. It's just as bad when
no arguments there.
Nicholas Tyson sent a super chat. Happy Gilmore breaks the ugly villain trope. Christopher McDonald is a handsome man. Sandler looks like a normal dude, and Richard Kiel is the best.
Well, with something like Happy Gilmore, though, it's like, oh, we are cheering for the everyman, the average man, and, you know, here's this handsome, good-looking jerk who has an easy life, so, you know, it's still, you know, that's the only reason that's sort of subverted there, but, you know, he still has to have a hot girlfriend.
Master Clockwork sent a super chat. Oh, the beautiful villain is also done to death.
I would say not as much. Not quite as much, but there are examples of beautiful villains, like Griffith from Berserk being the primary one. But also, you know, like Disney, when they did Cinderella, they kind of missed out on subverting it. I know it was like the fucking 40s or whatever, but in the original Cinderella tale, the stepsisters are beautiful, but their hearts are ugly, you know? So they're still very beautiful women, but they're assholes. So that right there from a fairy tale from like the fucking 13th century is telling you pretty people could also be bitches, you know?
The QA signboard sent a super chat. Isn't ugly though. He's just average.
I mean, I guess they gave him sort of sinister features. He's more gangly and angular than a lot of the other characters. It's also a way to, like, depict evil, is to make a villain very pointy, you know, unfriendly shapes.
Arcane does this than when fucking My Little Pony does it. You might rebut this with proposing the idea that, well, there's lots of media, animated or otherwise, that flips this idea on its head, so there's definitely a counter trope of sorts. And, honestly, fair point. There is a lot of media that attempts to subvert the trope, but frankly, I'm also kind of annoyed of that too. Maybe not for the reason you'd think. That sort of media, when the protagonist is kinda on the ugly side, when the villain is closer to being conventionally attractive, tends to feature physical appearance as a major plot point. The stories featuring the ugly good guys is often a story about how you shouldn't judge based on appearances, such as Shrek or Hunchback, or is otherwise about the ugly good guy finding a way to fix their ugliness, like in Beauty and the Beast. In media where the villain is pretty, it's...
Come on now, we all agree the Beast was way hotter as a beast. His human form looks weird. You know, we all know this.
Oftentimes something that, once again, factors into the narrative. Their beauty is something they gain from villainy when they'd otherwise be conventionally unattractive, such as Entangled. Or their beauty is something they use to do evil deeds, like insert any sort of lust demon. As much as I absolutely adore K-pop demon hunters, it even does this to a certain extent. Obviously, huntress are beautiful, I'm not calling them ugly, but all of the demons are hideous beasts except
well, yeah, except the Sajas, who were supposed to be a boy band. That was the whole point. They look hot, so their plan is gonna work. That was the entire... And of course, Huntrix are hot. It's a power... Dude, this is a power fulfillment movie for straight girls. Straight girls get to have those too, you know? No, I still have Super's pause. Sorry about that.
Dana_Brain sent a super chat. No ugly or pretty people. All characters should be featureless sketches.
You know, we should all just draw stick figures from now on. That way we can't be problematic.
Narrative. Their beauty is something they gain from villainy when they'd otherwise be conventionally unattractive, such as Entangled. Or their beauty is something they use to do evil deeds, like insert any sort of lust demon. As much as I absolutely adore K-pop demon hunters, it even does this to a certain extent. Obviously,
Master Clockwork sent a super chat. Look, I'm just going up mention the evil queen from Snow White and mic drop.
That's right, she is, well, it's a plot point that she's beautiful, though.
Miss Jasmine sent a super chat. The demons in KPDH can glamour themselves, though.
Yeah.
Beautiful, I'm not calling them ugly, but all of the demons are hideous beasts except for the ones that need to be hot in order to manipulate the masses.
Yeah, but they're not actually... Did you not see what the Saja boys look like as demons? Like, that's kind of the joke. Or they're, the first time we see them go back to the underworld and they turn back, they're not exactly that,
Spoons and Jam sent a super chat. My partner told me that when they watched Beauty and the Beast as a kid, they were so upset that Beast turned into a human, that they turned the TV off and pretended that Beast just died. Smiley face emoji.
Amazing. A furry was born. So yeah, this is, I mean, when they go back to the underworld, they're still very ghoulish looking. That's kind of the joke. You know, where's that one gif? Where's that one gif where they're putting all their flowers down, they immediately all just slouch. I don't want to play stuff from the movie. I almost got copyright struck last time. Damn it, I can't find it, but there's like one scene where they're all like, they all go backstage and the other Sajas all just immediately slouch like little ghouls. It's really funny. And of course the fucking poses they strike when they first reveal their hot forms. It's part of the joke!
The QA signboard sent a super chat. Villains can't be ugly. Villains can't be pretty. What do you want? Completely average looking villains?
I mean, no, they're not wrong that this is a well-worn kind of archaic trope that, you know, pretty people, the good guys are pretty and the bad guys are ugly. But I don't see the point of making this here, because the whole joke is they're just the Backstreet Boys, they're just supposed to be a hot boy band. And that's why their plan works. It's a joke.
can fully acknowledge that this has a lot to do with the fact that it's drawing from actual mythology, but it still does exemplify what I'm talking about here.
No, it has nothing to do with actual mythology. It's a fucking Sailor Moon plot. This is something the fucking Amazon trio would do. Just pretend to be a boy band to get the hearts of young girls.
Allowed to just look the way they look unless it's the same default hot hero and ugly villain combo. The bigger issue for both the trope and its subversion, however, is how it's pushing an objective difference between attractive and unattractive. Not to be the friend that's too woke, but I think it's pretty screwed up to perpetuate the idea that certain features are just inherently ugly or inherently pretty. Attractiveness is completely subjective.
Replica_rabbit sent a super chat. Sailor Moon villains are all hot.
That's true, they are. I mean, I don't think that's entirely true. I mean, yeah, what's considered beauty standards does change across culture and time, but I think there's certain things we can all agree, like, are unattractive in a person, you know? Like, I don't know, maybe if your skin is covered in boils or something, but...
Don't listen to the weirdos that try to push this idea that there's some kind of instinctual reason as to why certain features or personality traits are more or less attractive, especially if they claim—
Well, there are some instinctual reasons, because if somebody looks ill, our monkey brains tell us stay away from that person, because we also might get ill, you know? So there is some instinct going on here, Bubbs.
have gotten laid at some point. That claim disproves their point. Their aura should instinctively activate a fight or flight response. Sure, there are some trends in things that people might find more commonly attractive, and they could do with instinct, but—
chat. As much of a trope ugly villain is, plenty of times the ugly villain is way cooler and then pro-tag. Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, Leatherface, etc.
That's true. No, who remembers, like, any of the kids from those movies? Everyone remembers the ugly-ass monster in those movies, you know? And they became franchises off of it. But now they're saying, oh, maybe it could be instinctual. So, what point are you even making? Maybe you should have edited the script more. I don't think this video had to be 57 minutes long.
Are some trends in things that people might find more commonly attractive, and they could do with instinct, but all it takes is cracking open a history book to see how much beauty standards change and warp over time, and the variation continues as you look at all the
super chat. Sigh. People used to think consumption was hot.
Alright, you got a point there, but...
different standards within individual cultures from around the world. I also really hate how this continues a trend of what I like to call average erasure. No matter what kind of media you look at.
Next you have people say, how can the Saja boys get around without identification?
Yeah, you really...
Master Clockwork sent a super chat. OMG, all that just to drop the virtue signal. Conventional beauty standards are stupid.
Yeah, I mean, oh, what a brave thing to say that no one has ever said before.
Indie Gotcha sent a super chat. I'd stand Amazon trio boy band NGL, Tiger's Eye, growing heart emoji, growing heart emoji.
I mean, I've been joking that maybe there are other bands that fight demons in the world of K-pop demon hunters. I should probably draw these things, but I am going on vacation soon. Maybe I'll draw them while I'm on vacation. My friends can help me. So I'm going to be... A couple of friends are coming to stay with me in my hotel room while I'm on my trip visiting my brother, so it's going to be a fun time.
Bylonic sent a super chat. You construct the look of your villain around the kind of role you want your villains to play. Pretty simple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that also. Yeah.
It's West sent a super chat. I think Bubbs is making a decent point, but just has bad examples.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree... But, like, with K-pop demon, like someone said, oh, how do they get around without identification? Yeah, K-pop demon hunters, you kind of have to treat like one long music video. It does not have realistic logic. It's not supposed to. It's a very, very campy movie, and it embraces that. Also, they made them cut a lot of content. That's why it's so just quick, scene to scene to scene to scene. But, like, again, if you think of it as a long music video, that kind of works. But, honestly, after watching it a couple of more times to do my last stream, I feel like they had enough material there for, like, a full 8-episode streaming season, which, honestly, would have been cool to see. But they are coming out with a short soon, which I assume is going to be a lot of the cut content.
Look at, important characters are most often hot or ugly. Rarely are we treated to people that are just average, which is stupid because the...
Because, like, for one thing, just average doesn't make for a good, memorable, iconic character design. And for two, like, people like to see aesthetically pleasing people in shows and movies, you know? Like, yeah, I mean, even average for TV is still kind of hot. You know, it's just kind of a thing.
The vast majority of people just look somewhere in the middle of the proposed extremes, existing as a mishmash of traits that are highly favored and not so highly favored by society, because human DNA isn't concerned about making people supermodels. I hope I've already made this clear by the
Okay.
Ed Stevens sent a super chat, a Dolly Parton type demon hunter.
Dude, you just know that Dolly Parton herself is a fucking demon hunter canonically in this world of K-pop demon hunters. I was thinking, what if we had like an American demon hunting band that are like the Dixie Chicks or something, like they're like they're country gals. I think that would be really funny.
examples I've been using, but I would.
Nick Crest Tyson sent a super chat. Average can only work on a fucked up serial killer.
Perhaps, but yeah, like, you have someone who's just average looking, especially in character design, though. It's like, okay, so you're just gonna draw, like, a guy in a baseball cap, and a t-shirt, and cargo shorts, and that's your character. I don't think he's gonna be very memorable.
Wish to make it known that this isn't a thing that only existed in old Disney movies. I have seen others online discuss this concept before and kind of push this argument that media nowadays is just so much better, and sure, it might be better, but it's not like the concept has gone away completely. Again, refer to Arcane, refer to K-pop Demon Hunters, look at many modern anime shows.
I think these are bad
that
examples.
Confirms that Bobby from KPDH really is hot.
Yeah! People love Bobby.
Max Narcisse sent a super chat. Kendrick Lamar could seal the How Moon.
Yes, Kendrick Lamar is also a vocalist demon hunter. We know this. Absolutely.
Nick Crest Tyson sent a super chat. Boys 2 Men versus demons. Make it happen, Hollywood.
Do you think the Backstreet Boys were, or was it NSYNC? Do you think they were rival demon hunter groups? But yeah, why are you using Arcane and K-pop demon hunters as examples of this trope in modern times? I'm sure you could have found better examples, because they don't really fit what you're saying. This is just, again, I'm not completely down on this person, but this is just confusing. It's just kind of a bad point.
Like Dan-Da-Dan and Jujutsu Kaisen. And what I really want to address right now,
Dan-Da-Dan, I haven't seen either of those,
hunters, look
unfortunately.
at many modern anime shows like Dan-Da-Dan and
Okay.
Jujutsu Kaisen.
Annoying in universe? Is this your average guy example? I haven't seen Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm kind of an old taku, you know? I haven't really seen anything past, like, 2012.
And what I really want to address right now refer to a lot of popular modern-day romance comics and books. In my opinion,
well, honey, of course people want to see hot people in romances. It's wish fulfillment fantasy, you know? Like, sorry. Like, you gotta know your audience.
one of the worst manifestations of this trope is something that happens in a lot of recent romance titles, specifically lingering in that dark romance space. A genre title I have many issues with, but that's a different topic for a different day.
A super chat. Wait, is she specifically talking about animated character designs? God no, I want my main characters to be memorable and unique. Not your average Joe.
Bubbs is they, but also, no! They're talking about both live action and character design, and also went on a rant about zombies at the beginning of this, which had nothing to do with, like, visual tropes, so, like, I think you maybe should have split these topics up into separate videos, Bubbs. This is just rather confounding.
I have read far too many comics and listened to far too many book reviews where the female protagonist suffers victimization from two very similarly behaving men, but the perception on the actions changes
Dr.
depending-
Theo sent a super chat. Imagine dragons secretly using their music to fight dragons.
Oh, you guys are coming up with all sorts of good ideas.
on whether or not the character performing them is conventionally attractive. When the short, fat old man touches her hair without consent, it's creepy, but when the muscular, tall, well-groomed man does the same thing, it's hot and creates tension.
Why did you use Kingdom Hearts as an example of this? Why did you use Pooh Bear thirsting over Xemnas, apparently, as a... What? What is happening? Wow, Xemnas? I don't like that you murdered so many people, but at least you're hot. I can't do a good Pooh Bear.
Scones and Jam sent a super chat.
Yeah,
a young
like...
adult novel with a love triangle? No.
I mean, like, literally you're just complaining about this.
Saffron sent a super chat. The Jujutsu Kaisen chart who is called good as Nanami canonically used to be salaryman, so he is basically normie core hot.
Oh, I see. So basically you're just complaining about Harlequin romance books, which only exist as wish fulfillment erotica. Yeah. People want to see hot people in their sexy erotica, I'm sorry. That's just how it
Tyson
be.
sent a super chat. Kingdom Hearts, oh god, it all come back to the lork.
I'm just very confused. Maybe that's a joke from an earlier video of theirs, but like, yeah, okay, so people want to see hot people fucking. And not average people fucking. Because it's erotica, it's just a fantasy, it's not real life. They're not gonna apply it to their real life. It's just something to enjoy and goon to. It ain't that serious, Bubbs. It ain't that serious.
Miss Jasmine sent a super chat. What Bubbs and others find attractive is subjective. Plenty of those ugly characters are considered hot by a lot of people.
It's true. It is true.
The QA signboard sent a super chat. Hot take. Dark romance is just darker fantasy fulfillment. It's not any worse the odd violent video game.
No, yeah, because the thing about, like, dark erotic fantasies, I can't believe we have to get into this. The thing about it is, people don't actually want that dark thing to happen to them. They want the fantasy of it, that they are in complete control of, you know? It's like when people are like, oh, most women have a rape fetish. They're lying, they don't, but it's that fantasy of giving up control, maybe getting around sexual hang-ups, where it's like, oh no, I'm just forced to feel good because he's so hot and this is so hot. You know, like, again, it's a fantasy that people are completely in control of themselves. This is not something they want in real life. Nobody would really, you know? So, stop shaming people for the porn they like.
Bylonic sent a super chat. Why do we want to see regular people screwing?
Yeah, us regular people can just screw each other at any time. We want to look at hot people screwing. Come on!
Tension that the reader is supposed to invest in and hope to see more of. This is truly the trope at its worst, as the person you are meant to root for isn't even a better person this time, they're just hotter. I should hope that I don't have to explain why this is a problem, especially when the activities in question are significantly more traumatic than touching hair.
How old are you? I'm wondering at this point, how old are you? Like, your mom reading a romance novel with Fabio on the cover that is completely unrealistic erotica does not mean she's going to apply those concepts to real life. Okay? I mean, I'm assuming this person is in their 20s, but I'm kind of like, why is this concept so foreign to you?
The attractiveness of a person should have no bearing on whether or not we perceive their abusive actions as abusive. I know this.
Okay, but listen, again, it's like, if you read something like 50 Shades of Grey, it's like an unrealistic fucking sexual fantasy that the person reading it is completely in control of their experience with it. You know, and that's the attraction there, and the enjoyment they derive from it.
This is unfortunately a thing that happens in real life. I'm just saying, though, maybe if we didn't feed into this as much in our media, it would happen a little less. Now, considering I have stated that I'd
So do you just not trust adults to know fantasy from reality? Because I know that a lot of media can reinforce harmful ideas that come from society to begin with, but, like, are you really saying, like, the fucking Harlequin romance novels your mom buys at the supermarket are corrupting society? I mean, you're starting to sound like a fucking Puritan right now.
Dana_Brain sent a super chat. Talking about erotica was not on my size stream bingo card.
Well, Bubbs brought it up! And now I have to address it! It's like, why do you care what people get off on in their own private time, you know? Especially when it's not realistic and they're not, like, wanting these things in real life, you know? Like, just it's none of your fucking business.
Rather see less of the trope in practice, but also have issues with the reverse situation happening, you might be wondering what I could possibly propose as a solution. What would please me if someone were looking to do so? It's actually very simple, and that's just to not engage with the dichotomy at all. Don't break people up into categories of hot and not. Just make people with all kinds of—
Okay, well, don't read bodice rippers then, because that's not the point of the point of a bodice ripper is not to be socially conscious. It's so your mom can have her little sexual fantasy while she reads it.
different features that humans can have in real life. Allow your characters to have imperfections and desirable traits, no matter whether or not you're supposed to like them. And let the audience decide who's hot and who's not. After how my audiences behave towards my elderly asexual priest character, I've learned you have no real control over that anyways.
Yeah, you have no real control over that anyway, so who cares what the text is saying? Like, I mean, there's people who find Frollo from Hunchback hot, too. I mean, he's unequivocally a bad guy.
I'm not saying you can't make conventionally attractive or conventionally unattractive characters, because that would be absolutely stupid. But treating attractiveness like a team sport is just not necessary. Some pieces of media that I really like and dodge this trope pretty well are the Owl House, Gravity Falls, both Castlevania series, Invincible, and even—
What the fuck are you talking about?
Some pieces of media that I really like
Nerdy Nora sent a super chat. I can fix them romance. I would never date someone that needed to be fixed. I ain't a therapist.
Exactly. Like, I like, one trope I like is the couple that is very in love but constantly bickers. But I probably wouldn't want that for myself in real life, but as a trope of characters who are not real people, that you, the author, have complete control over how they react to each other, like, that's different. Fiction is fiction. That's one thing you really need to, you know, reinforce with people. Fiction is fiction. Fiction can tell us a lot about ourselves. It can communicate things to us. It can help us, what am I trying to say? It can help us rationalize or crystallize feelings or things that have happened to us, but at the end of the day, all fiction is contrived. It's just how well the author hides it, you know? But it's not realistic. No fiction is realistic, ever.
Dodge this trope pretty well are the Owl House.
Okay, so you're saying none of these characters are conventionally attractive by the art style? You know, and in the next one—
Gravity Falls, both—
Everyone here is hot! What are you talking about? I've never seen Castlevania, so I don't know who's a good guy or who's a bad guy, but they're all hot! What do you mean? All of these people are conventionally attractive!
Both Castlevania series, Invincible, and even Clone High, of all things.
Well, Cleopatra is conventionally attractive as she is remembered as being. They made Joan of Arc conventionally attractive, even though she was famous for dressing like a man and leading an army. JFK is, I guess, conventionally attractive. And then Gandhi, who is seen as a joke, is not conventionally attractive. Abe Lincoln is not conventionally attractive. I don't know who the fuck these two are. I've never seen Clone High. So, why are all of your examples just, like, have nothing to do with what you're saying? I'm so confused!
I'd give live-action examples, but that would require basically labeling real humans as average-looking or even unattractive.
Well, you want shows full of average-looking people, though, don't you? You were just saying that's, like, a virtuous thing. So why wouldn't you do that? If there's nothing wrong with being average-looking, why would it be bad to call a real person average-looking? What? Bubbs, you're undercutting your own point! Or is it because you just don't watch live-action shows outside of The Walking Dead, is that it?
Dr. Theo sent a super chat. I love werewolves, but Darlit'd probably run away.
Yeah, right? You wouldn't really want to be devoured by a werewolf in real life, I'm sure.
Nicholas Tyson sent a super chat. John F. Kennedy is notable for being a playboy.
Yeah, and he was attractive in real life, too, so...
JJW Mizoon sent a super chat. This advice is impossible to take. Make characters and guess who I arbitrarily don't consider hot or ugly.
Yeah, and then they're like, I would give real-life examples, but I don't want to call anyone average-looking because that's insulting, but you were just saying we have to stop seeing being average-looking as a bad thing. So you just completely undercut your entire point. Please, Bubbs, I'm trying to be neutral here and hear you out, but holy crap.
And that's not really something I'm about, so... What I'm trying to say is that I'm not asking for the impossible here. It is, in fact, possible to make me happy. I think I've yapped enough on this one. On to the next.
QA Signboard sent a super chat. Here's hoping one day you react to Jenna Moores. She has the worst takes ever, but nobody trusts to challenge them and think they're good.
I wonder what she does. Let me look up that person real quick.
It's West sent a super chat. Loves bickering old couple. Just say Mission Hill.
Mission Hill is definitely one of them. I love those two. So, what is she... Oh, she does writing advice?
Hello there, my...
Oh, dear God. Okay, maybe. Maybe one day? Maybe one day? She's got more subscribers than me, so... Oh God, enemies to lovers, blah blah blah. Perhaps one day.
Dana_Brain sent a super chat. Gravity Falls makes a whole point of Grunkle Stan being ugly, old and disgusting. Like it's a huge part of his character.
And yet he still has his simps. The old man lovers. Gotta love him.
Killed my entire family.
The title of this trope is a reference to the great and mighty Sungwon Cho, who made a skit on his YouTube channel about this very phenomenon. This "we forgive you" business is that thing where the super-
So you're not even gonna show parts of it for reference?
Really, we just decided we don't hate him anymore for plot convenience. Don't-
Guys,
Okay,
Vegeta killed my entire
Let's
family.
find that
The
video.
title of this trope is a reference to the great and mighty Sungwon Cho, who made
Everybody forgives the bad guy even though he did horrible shit. And he's making fun of DBZ, okay. Pro ZD, when everyone forgives the villain. Let's find the, here we go. It's 36 seconds long. You couldn't play it in your video so I have the context.
Vegeta, we'd be glad to have you on our team.
Thank you.
Guys, Vegeta killed my entire family. Remember that scene where he was like,
Look upon your dead family, Sosuke Bosuke. Every single one of them slain by my hand. Fuck you, Sosuke Bosuke. Your family sucks. I will never regret doing
I
this.
just feel like he's getting off a teensy bit scot-free.
But Sosuke, look, he has a funny
Igor
mustache
sent
now.
a
And
super
he's...
chat. I'm surprised TF2 has not been mentioned. It would have been a better example of average-looking character designs.
Yeah, so this is just Naruto and DBZ crammed into one that he's doing here. This is specifically about shonen anime.
so endearing and a good guy.
Yeah, but
Sorry, guys. I know we had our issues in the past. Totally my B. I was just a little
hell is he wearing on his head?
loco back then.
A little Sungwon Cho break. We needed that. He's just talking about Vegeta.
Bylonic sent a super chat. Listen, I'm just gonna say I love the one person who was yelling at the whole internet that Griffin from Hotel Transylvania was still hot after his human design was revealed. Respect.
Is that the Invisible Man guy? Let's look up this character. I haven't seen Hotel Transylvania either. Hotel Transylvania. And I know it's Genndy Tartakovsky, I do, but, oh yeah, he is, you know, he's redheaded and has a big nose, and you could say these are kind of Jewish stereotypes, actually, maybe a little bit. It's like, well, Adam Sandler's in the movie, though, so...
Scones and Jam sent a super chat. As if the bingo dance and Dagita isn't amazing.
Yeah, I know. That's... I brought this up in, like, my first big video edit, the Lily Steven Universe one, where, like, yeah, Vegeta blew up entire planets, killed, like, thousands and thousands of people. He used to cannibalize other aliens, but he's just part of the team now, because we like him as a character, because DBZ is not that serious.
Nicholas Tyson sent a super chat. You know forgiving villains isn't common in live-action movies, Bubbs. In fact, I struggle to think of a movie that does that.
Yeah, you mostly find it in children's media, because we're trying to teach children that, you know, not everyone is just evil for the sake of being evil, and the solution shouldn't just be to kill them, you know?
PQA Signboard sent a super chat. This section is giving me Lily Orchard anti-redemption flashbacks. Especially her weird vendetta against Starlight Glimmer from
I guess
MLP.
we'll see. I have a feeling Bubbs might be parroting some of the same anti-Steven Universe points Lily did, so... Now that we've got the fucking context, let's go on with their point.
A skit on his YouTube channel about this very phenomenon. This "we forgive you" business is that thing where the super duper bad guy of the story gets redeemed. Except not really, we just decided we don't hate him anymore for plot convenience. Don't get me wrong, I am a sucker for a redemption arc. I love watching a character challenge their morals and ideals of their own volition, and work hard to make amends with those that they've hurt. I am also a huge fan of when there is a temporary setting aside of differences for the sake of defeating an even bigger bad. And
I do love that too, when the when the villain and the hero have to temporarily team up to fight something even worse. I am also a sucker for that trope. I'm with you on that one, Bubbs.
we all exit the confrontation knowing that neither party considers this to be a complete absolution of any bad blood, with perhaps a proper redemption taking place after the fact. But this trope isn't either of those things. This trope is, we sang a little song and now we're all good, or, well, he's...
I think they're gonna get into the fucking Steven Universe part now.
Eddie's on our side now, or the dreaded, they were actually just lashing out at us because of their trauma.
Yeah, cause let's just laugh at the concept of people behaving badly out of trauma. I mean, it's not an excuse, but it is an explanation.
Adrian Parchman sent a super chat. Wow, 3 stream in a row and 4 more the day after. I'm worried about your old frail heart there. Cat Lady /S.
We did have a frail old time on the Cat Lady stream last night. I'm so glad I could introduce that game to a lot of people. Oh, not a lot of people. Not many people come to my gaming streams, but that's okay, because I enjoyed doing them. You can always go back and watch them if you like. But, yeah, I think we're about to get into the SU part, aren't we? Besides, again, I am doing this many streams this week because I am going away on a trip from the 24th to the 4th. I will keep announcing that, so you all know we're gonna miss 2 Wednesdays. So...
It is instantaneous, or close to that, and rather than showing the villain actually growing and adapting as a person over time, everyone seems to just have amnesia regarding all of the bullshit this guy inflicted on them.
Well, again, when a villain is a popular character and there's nothing villainous left to do with them, like in DBZ, they just put them on the good guys team. Because it's fiction, Bubbs. I think Bubbs has to be a Zoomer. Because this is the problem I've had with Zoomers in media literacy, where they seem to think every single show has to be a morality play that tells you the best ways to live life. And yeah, sure, that works for children's shows, but by the time you're getting into your 20s, you should be growing beyond those a little bit. It's not a bad thing to enjoy and watch children's adventure shows, but you have to be cognizant of the fact that they are written for children. That was always my problem with Lily, where she's always like, why isn't this scene more realistic and darker and more down-to-earth and more adult? And it's like, because it's for 8-year-olds, Lily, that's why. You fucking idiot. Go watch something for adults!
Scones and Jam sent a super chat. Piccolo being in Gohan's wedding photo with his eyes closed equals him starting out as being the son of the Demon King. And he's amazing.
Yeah, Piccolo's my favorite DBZ character, so yeah. I like how he's Pan's ultimate babysitter in Super now. It's great.
There are countless reasons why I hate this from a narrative perspective, but to start with a main reason, I despise how this robs the villain of a real redemption arc. As I said before, the reason I like to witness redemption arcs is because of the internal struggles that you get to see them go through. The growth is the cool part. However, when this happens, there's no growth because we don't see them struggle and improve over time. We didn't see them try to make amends for what they did. The supposed internal shift happens all at once and therefore is completely superficial. Did they actually have a spontaneous change of heart, or did they just get backed into a corner? Sure, there are cases where the initial forgiveness is super rushed, but then the character continues to prove themselves over and over after that.
Again, we're only referring to children's shows here, where of course it's going to be less nuanced and simpler, because fucking 5-year-olds have to follow it. And it's not a bad thing to teach little kids that someone mean and someone you don't like is maybe having their own struggles, and perhaps under different circumstances you can become friends. That is not a bad thing to be teaching children. Hell, some adults need to learn that lesson.
The fact. But that still doesn't make it believable to me that the characters would extend that forgiveness in the first place, at least in most cases.
That's
you have
Bubbs.
some practically infinite wellsprings of forgiveness in certain medias, or characters with—
Yeah, Steven is definitely an infinite wellspring of forgiveness. How many times did he yell at the gems for keeping things from him? He does it a lot, actually.
Chipmanly93 sent a super chat. Vegeta was the main villain for one arc. He does grow and change, even if it took him a while to do so.
He still's a mass murderer,
Solo
though.
sent a super chat. Vegeta did have a redemption arc, the Buu Saga.
Well, first he gave over to Majin Buu and killed a bunch of people, and Bulma fainted, but yeah, then he sacrificed himself, and as we all know, in fiction, sacrificing yourself is the ultimate redemption. That is a well-worn trope that maybe needs to be examined, but Bubbs isn't talking about that one.
with a long history with that villain, but it is rare that everyone is on the same page with that one person, so it doesn't make sense for them to grab that olive branch too. Also, in situations where there's one person who's more willing to forgive—
Have you never been in a group of friends or coworkers where you and another person don't really like each other, but you have to be civil with each other and tolerate each other for the group cohesion? Have you never been in a situation like that? Again, how old are you?
than the others? I loathe how frequently that's a betrayal to their friends. Obviously, sometimes it makes sense as to why they're waving the white flag, but other times it's just so shitty. How could you be choosing the guy that murdered my mom over me right now? What, because y'all are lesbian lovers? Too bad. Your lesbian lover killed my mom. Find a different one. Speaking—
Why did you have to make it like, oh, because you're lesbian lovers? Like, that's like a shallow thing? Why did you have to put it that way, Bubbs? That's,
of, this trope usually ruins the protagonist too, not just the villains. Like, in a lot of cases, you are dealing with people that have caused incredible trauma. They killed people that the protagonists cared about. They
For fuck's sake, this is a baby show for babies. Okay, you went from She-Ra to fucking Castlevania, so a children's show to an adult show. Again, all these people do this, or they compare, like, children's shows to adult shows, as if they're on the same fucking level.
Scones and Jam sent a super chat. Trunks, Bulma, I do this for you. And even for you, best buddy. Adrian Parchman sent a super chat. How is Bub, they slash them, doing so far? Is they Lily or Limus?
Nah, they're nowhere near as bad as Lily or Limus. I mean, the points are just kinda confused, and I'm disagreeing with a lot of it, but I don't, like, loathe Bubbs. I think Bubbs is making a good faith attempt here. They're just picking really strange examples that don't really back up what they're saying, and it's just kind of a mess. It's just kind of messy. It's really what it is. It's just messy. It's not malicious. It's just messy.
Master Clockwork sent a super chat. Since you bring it up, I recently came across a video hating on Has-Been because the show can be morally gray.
God's sakes. We are definitely going to be doing another Has-Been Hate-Dem stream in October, because the show's coming out, and it's good for the algo, but it will also be fun. People have been suggesting tons of videos for that in my Discord, and also, if you want to join my Discord, you can become a channel member, or a member of my Patreon, which I barely post anything on, but it gets you into the Discord server, at least, and once you're in the Discord server, you don't have to leave if you've stopped pledging to me, so you only have to pay me $1 due.
Week Freak Animation sent a super chat. All their examples are from children's cartoons.
Yeah, I mean, well, we had the Walking Dead examples, but the whole zombie section seems completely disconnected from the rest of the video. Why didn't you just make a video on zombies? I mean, you still wouldn't understand the genre, but it seems like that should have just been a completely separate topic.
Miss Jasmine sent a super chat. Glimmer doesn't even hold Catra responsible for her mom's death during Catra's redemption. Catra saves Glimmer's life and they move on.
Yeah. Honestly, I always bring up, like, one of my favorite scenes is from, the Full Metal Alchemist manga. It's in Brotherhood, too, actually, where, Winry saves the life of Scar, who murdered her parents in a blind rage. And as she's saving his life, by giving him medical attention, he asks her, does this mean you forgive me? And she goes, no. No, it doesn't. But this is what my parents would do, because they were doctors. So, I really like that scene, because it shows you can do the right thing, and you can be a good person to other people, without having to forgive them for their bad actions. Which is something I also feel strongly, because I consider myself a secular humanist. So, yeah.
Solar sent a super chat. Ha. My Has-Been stream algo suggestion stuck.
Violated and assaulted the protagonists, but because it is now plot convenient, they are expected to have switched sides based on basically nothing. And the characters that we as the audience were led to believe have emotions that we as the audience are supposed to take seriously just seem to change completely because they've...
See, again, this is like a Zoomer media criticism issue. Bubbs is like saying, well, that's not what I would do. Okay? But it's what these characters are doing, and you should maybe, like, approach it from what the actual text is showing you, not just saying, well, that's not what I would do in this situation. I wouldn't forgive them. You know, who fucking cares? You're not that character. Again, these shows aren't telling you a life lesson of how they expect you to behave in real life. That attitude is just so confusing to me.
Chipmanly93 sent a super chat. No, 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 no. You can't just back out of Poland, Hitler. We saw what you did. Tom Christie, 2025.
I don't know if I understand that, but okay. I thought that said Poundland at first. I was very confused. I'm pausing the super chats more just so we can get through this. We're doing pretty good, though. We're 25 minutes in, and...
got to for...
Oh, yeah, FMA is my favorite manga. Favorite comic, in general, actually, I would say, still right now.
For the plot. If you have good characterization up to that point, and your good guys feel real, this stuff can really hurt that. At best, it feels like any kind of strong conviction or sense of morality that these characters previously possessed was entirely dependent on convenience, and at worst...
Again, you are approaching this from your own moral framework and your own values. You're not paying attention to who these characters are as people. You're just seeing this from a very self-centered perspective, going, well, it's not what I would do, so... But that's not the point, though.
You get characters that stop acting like people and start acting like vessels for a story, which they ultimately are, but good writing should prevent the viewer from feeling that. I'm sorry, even if you have the saddest backstory in the world, and even if there was a time when I was really close to you, I'm still not gonna set my differences with you aside if you commit terrorism against me, and in the...
Well, they didn't really set their differences aside at the end, Armin and Aaron. Armin basically just agreed, yeah, we're both basically monsters going to hell, buddy. Like, Mikasa and Armin still loved Aaron, and yet they still stopped him from genociding the entire world, because they felt it was the right thing to do. They disagreed with his ideology and what he was doing, but they both still loved him. that's a very human, realistic thing. You know? Like, these people went to hell and back together. You can't break those bonds that easily. You know? I mean, you're acting like this is like a high school clique where they should have just gone, we're gonna shun Eren from now on because he wore, like, a shitty outfit to school. You know? Like, I love the ending of Attack on Titan. I know a lot of people have a lot of problems with it, but I actually like it a lot. I even like the extended ending where we see Paradise is eventually destroyed by war, like 50 to 100 years in the future, because the whole point of Attack on Titan is humans are inherently violent, and the cycle of violence is really never going to end. I said that on Twitter one time, and someone was like, do you have any proof that humans are always violent? And I was like, gestures vaguely to all of world history? What the fuck are you talking about? There is actually an AOT high school gag comic spin-off that the author did. I think a zombie apocalypse breaks out, actually, incidentally. But yeah, so at the ending of AOT, Armin, he still feels love for Eren, his best friend since they were kids, but him and Mikasa do kill Eren and stop him from committing mass genocide on the entire world. So, yeah, just because they still love him doesn't mean they didn't think what he was doing was wrong, and they still stopped him. So, like, God, all of your examples are so bad!
The process kill many of my friends and family. In fact, I think our history as friends will make me even less likely to open my door for you, because why on earth would I give you the opportunity to betray me again? One of the most egregious examples of this trope, at least in my mind, comes from Steven Universe. Massive
Oh, here we go, guys. Here's the part you were all waiting for.
Steven Universe spoilers incoming. Skip to here, this timestamp, if you haven't watched it and you don't want the spoilers. This is an
Oh, sweetie, I know this show inside and out. You ain't gonna put a fast one past me.
example that makes me so upset because Steven Universe manages to perfectly execute realistic character growth and redemption arcs over and over again, proving that the show is more than capable of it, and then it turns around and massively fumbles other situations. And yes, I do mean perfectly executed. Steven Universe gets a lot of criticism for being overly dramatic and sloppily written at times, and while I do actually think some of that is valid, the common critique of it being one of those la la, we are best friends now types of shows just doesn't hold water for me. Unless you're
Okay, accurate. The characterization, but you called Steven an endless fount of forgiveness earlier. So you were feeding into those perceptions that Steven Universe is just about all like, la la, they would even forgive Hitler, ooh. So you already fed into that fucking misconception about it. So, okay, off to a bad start.
Going in with the incorrect mindset that musicals are lame, it makes sense when and where the songs do the trick. However, they really dropped the most important ball. If you watched the show and have consumed any media about the finale, I am sure that you know I'm talking about the diamonds. While I think the finale gets a lot more flack than it really deserves in some aspects, especially considering how rushed it was behind the scenes, the decision to redeem the diamonds by trying to paint them as victims of a toxic family dynamic is absolutely stupid.
I mean, that was there from the beginning. I mean, throughout the show, we have seen that Yellow and Blue treat Pink like a child, basically, essentially. You know? When you have that flashback when Connie and Steven are Stevani lost on the Jungle Moon, I mean, because of their combined headspace, Yellow Diamond is literally depicted as Connie's mom. I don't think there could be any bigger indication that they are a family in a sense. Because obviously, gem relationships are not one-to-one with human relationships. Like, are the Diamond's sisters? Are Blue and Yellow Pink's mom? Is White the mom of all of them? The answer is yes. They're just a family in general. There isn't really any one-to-one relation you can put on top of it, but they are a family.
Bylonic sent a super chat. Fun fact with Queen Elizabeth I. She didn't want to kill her cousin Mary, she kept her alive for years until evidence forced her hand.
Yeah, it's almost like, you know, humans are complex and have varying contradictory emotions sometimes.
Adrian Parchman sent a super chat. Have you seen Anthony's redeeming fascist video?
I'm pretty sure I watched it. I mean, I don't disagree. I mean, I generally agree with Anthony, so I don't usually have much to say, you know?
To my knowledge, there has been no...
Oh, that's right! Savani is the same VA as Catcher, is it? Yeah! I love AJ What's-Her-Name, actually. The most impressive thing to me about her voicing Savani is she has Connie and Steven's laughs down perfectly. It's, like, eerie.
...of a toxic family dynamic is absolutely stupid. To my knowledge, there has been no indication that the diamonds were created by some other being which forced them.
No, but they could all have hatched from Homeworld. And they're all the same type of entity. And they all created Gemkind together. Why would they not be a family?
All to be perfect. At least it's not been indicated in the actual show or the movie. Maybe it
hasn't been indicated in the actual show? Alright, so... Yeah, okay, have you watched Steven Universe, Bubbs? Or are you running your mouth about it without watching it?
What did I...
I don't know if I'll get copyright struck for this, but let me just get to the lyrics I need. Familiar, why is this so familiar? Familiar, like something I used to know. Anyway, Anyway, here's the part I need. I'll even put the subtitles on to make it even clearer for everyone.
Familiar, why is this so familiar? Familiar, like something I used to do.
I'm just gonna keep interrupting for copyright, but this was the song where I was like, holy shit, this boy got some pipes! And Zach Callison grew up around a bunch of musicians and Broadway singers. He got really good.
Familiar, she used to throw a tantrum, insisting that, hey, I'm a diamond too. I bet she drove them crazy all the time. They love her, but they're leaving her behind. With more important places they should be. And hanging out with someone just like me.
This is where he has his revelation about how the diamonds are structured.
Familiar, that's why it's so familiar. Familiar, like someone I used to be. Familiar, but this time I've had some practice at helping a struggling family.
Yeah, the diamonds are never portrayed as a family. Ever, 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 ever. So anyway. I was probably a little out of sync with that because I got my Bluetooth headphones on, but yeah.
It's in an art book or something, but you don't get the brownie points for your show being well written and deep if I need to get supplemental materials to understand it.
No, you just weren't paying attention, Bubbs. It sounds to me like you didn't watch the show and you're just repeating complaints about it, but okay.
That's not how that works. Maybe when Lars of the Stars comes out, I'll eat crow on this, but even if we operated under the assumption that there was some other...
You've already eaten crow on this. Yeah, let's just quickly go to the Jungle Moon pink diamond Jungle Moon. The Jungle Moon dream, where they're having a flashback about Pink, but Stevani is in the place of Pink, and Connie's mom Priyanka is in the place of Yellow. So this tells us a lot about the relationship between them, even though we're not seeing the actual characters. This was a very clever way, too, that they got around immediately letting people know that pink is Rose, because if they had to use Susan Egan's voice, everyone would immediately figure it out. So this was an interesting, mind-rending way to show this scene without accidentally revealing. I heard they even, like, made sure they didn't draw Pink's hair with 5 bumps in this scene. So, you know, the idiot fans would immediately go, the same amount of bumps as Steven's hair! Because we are actually like that. Because remember when Future came out and we saw the Wormy Boy in the credits? And we were like, it has Steven's nose! It's Steven! We were right. Yeah, anyway.
Huh?
So right now, the dream Stefani starts acting in the place of Pink in the dream at this point. First, they were confused as to what the fuck was going on. But now, they start acting like Pink here. So even though we're seeing Stefani and Priyanka here, this is Pink and Yellow.
Whoa, cool!
I love the diamond drone, yeah. They each have their own drone, too.
Hey, Yellow.
Oh, you're still here.
What are you doing?
I'm commanding the dropships to colonize this planet.
I want to command a dropship!
Well, when you have your own colony, you can command whatever you want.
I want a colony!
This definitely doesn't sound like a conversation between a child and a parent at all, right? Or an older sister and a younger sister, or anything like that. Oh yeah, and it's Mary Elizabeth McGlynn, who does a very good impression of Patti LuPone here. A lot of people weren't sure if it was actually Patti LuPone or not. She's a very talented voice actor, but I'll never forgive her for the Silent Hill 2 remaster.
I want one now! What's this?
I'm contacting the leader of the fleet.
Let me do it.
Whoa! Don't touch that!
Why not? You have so many worlds and I don't even have one. It's not fair. I want one. I want my own army. I want my own planet. I deserve it. I'm just as important as you.
See, this is why I said in my original Lily response that Pink is basically the child of a traditional rich family who has undiagnosed ADHD, and they don't know what to do with her besides ask her, why can't you be normal? And I also have this theory. At first I thought maybe all the diamonds emerged from Homeworld at the same time, but now I'm more on the side of Pink did emerge way later than the others, because she's so small, for one thing. I mean, pink diamonds in real life are very small because they form under greater amounts of pressure than normal. I'm sure that's symbolism. But also look at Amethyst. Amethyst was in the ground too long, and that's why she's tiny. So the same thing could have happened to Pink. She could have overcooked. So she popped out way later than the other 3 diamonds, and by that point, maybe the diamonds had already started making their society with their gems, and so they didn't really know where to fit Pink. So instead of trying to change things for Pink, they tried to change Pink to fit into what they already had, which is why Pink lashed out so much.
Then why don't you act like it, Pink?
She sounds just like Patti LuPone there. That's fucking amazing. This was the first reveal of what Pink Diamond looked like, too. We see it in the reflection real soon here. So that was our first introduction to what Pink Diamond was like. And this was what? What's Jungle Moon? I think, actually, this is still like season 4 or 5, isn't it? But yeah. But still, they always had a family vibe. So, Bubbs, you either didn't watch the show, you watched it a long time ago and forgot these things, or you watched it and you weren't paying attention. Again, I don't mind people having criticisms about things I like, just actually tell the truth about what's in it. Actually know what you're criticizing. It's the same problem as the zombie section. You don't understand the conventions of the genre, so your criticisms make no sense. You don't remember these details from the show, so your criticisms don't make any sense.
Wonder Platinum sent a super chat, reminded how excellent Tess use not just songs but its background music by Ivy and Sarashu is at setting mood and its video
Oh god,
game
it's
moods.
so good. And one thing I noticed when the BGMs were released, because they did release BGM albums, and I have a few of those songs, one thing I noticed that I didn't really appreciate when watching the show is that all of the music is scored to what's happening on scene. So it's not just like generic music to throw in the background. They actually scored it all to the action and just kept leitmotifs and instruments per character to tell you who's what and what's going on. It's a very traditional way of doing it with very untraditional music, and I kind of fucking love that. You know, it's one of the best aspects of the show.
Weak Freak Animation sent a super chat, Lars of the Stars prediction, a newborn diamond.
I don't know, I can't really see them doing that. What I want to see from Lars of the Stars, I want to see maybe some flashbacks to how, like, the Gem Society used to be. Because, I mean, maybe we'll get some flashbacks to that time they were fleeing from Emerald and whatever the fuck. But the other thing I really want to see is, like, how, like, all the former colonies are getting along. Like, are they developing their own governments and their own cultures, you know? What's up with that? That's the kind of shit I want to see. And maybe see a little bit more of Little Homeworld, too. Come on.
For being that hurt them, they decided.
Oh, the chiptune. Chiptune's a funny example because Steven's instrument started out as chiptune, but in the movie, he started getting horns and trumpets. So it's like, that's like him growing up. You know, it's very clever.
To permeate their pain amongst each other and all of Gemkind for thousands of years after that influence was gone. They didn't need to do that, especially not for thousands of years.
They're gods. They are literally gods. They created gems in their own image. So basically, you have 4 gods who created a bunch of little people to serve them. And so, of course, they don't treat them like they're equals. Because why would they? They have no humanity. The whole point is introducing aliens to humanity, which is also a very, very fucking well-worn trope. In fact, it's 2 tropes in one. Robot aliens learning to be human. You got aliens learning to be human, and robots learning to be human, all at once. 2 well-worn tropes you could be talking about, but you're not, because you just want to mischaracterize the show instead.
I'll eat crow on this, but even if we operated under the assumption that there was some other being that hurt them, they decided to permeate their pain amongst each other and all of Gemkind for thousands of years after that influence was gone.
Yeah, it's almost like people can end up in toxic cycles like this that are self-imposed and self-enforced. You know, that happens in real life too.
They didn't need to do that, especially not for thousands of
They're
years.
gods!
It's only more annoying that the resolution for their thousands of years of torment boils down to the reincarnation of their dead sister going, knock it off. While all of that...
You think they're sisters too, huh? Yeah. Earlier you were like, just because you're lesbian lovers, and now you see all the diamonds as sisters, even though you denied them being a family. I'm getting a whiff of something here that I don't like. I mean, I always argue, though, that the way Blue and Yellow are written, you could either view them as a couple mourning their lost child, or, you know, sisters mourning their younger sister, and both are correct, because the metaphors in Steven Universe are multifaceted, pun intended, and gems are a great vehicle for allegory because they don't line up one-to-one with humans and human relationships. That's why they're such a good vehicle for allegory, you know, and pretty broad allegory at that. It's vibes more than a message, you know?
Years of torment boils down to the reincarnation of their dead sister going, knock it off. While all of that alone is a very weak attempt at redeeming anybody, the quality of the attempt doesn't really matter in this case.
I mean, it isn't... Hang on, let me just...
Ed Stevens sent a super chat, to them pinks shuddering just a couple day Bubbs.
Yeah, right? She was shattered, like, 5,000 years ago. To them, that's not a lot of time. They're still kind of... I mean, fucking Blue is still like a sobbing, crying mess over it, though that's mostly because Blue's... A lot of people misunderstand Blue Diamond. They're like, oh, she's the nice Diamond, and they want us to feel bad for her because she cries all the time. And it's like, well, for one thing, she is not the nice Diamond. For God's sakes, she's like the one all the blue gems come from, and all the blue gems are like mean girl bitches, and so is she. But Blue's grief is also very performative. And she imposes it on other people. So she wants everyone to see how much she's grieving, and she wants everyone to feel how much she's grieving. She wants everyone to know that she is grieving and is really sad about this. It's toxic. It's supposed to be. It really is. And it's not just Steven being Pink Diamond that changes him. Them thinking Steven is Pink Diamond is what grants him an audience with the diamonds in the end. But what shakes White is that Steven isn't pink. He defies her entire worldview by just not being his mom. She can't wrap her head around that she was mistaken. And the metaphor at the end is so fucking on the nose. White has been in her own head this whole time and doesn't talk to anybody else. This is why her worldview is so fragile, because if anything from the outside were to come in and challenge it, it would fall apart immediately. And that's why she's been in her own head all these years. It's such an on-the-nose metaphor.
Scones and Jam sent a super chat. Blue literally uses her grief as a weapon.
Yep, she sure does. And again, it's very performative. And Yellow is, of course, the opposite. Yellow is I'm just gonna push all my feelings down and throw myself into my work. And Yellow is the only bitch getting anything done on Homeworld. White's been T-posing in her headship for like 10,000 years, and Blue is a crying mess all the time. Yellow is the only one getting anything done. No wonder she always looks like she has a headache.
It's because, oh my god, they are fascist intergalactic colonizers!
No, they're not. It's pretty simple environmental message. You know who else goes to ecosystems and tears them down and kills all the creatures there and then puts up big concrete buildings for their own people to live in? That would be humans. Humans do that. So, again, Captain Planet level environmental message in a children's show. But because Steven just says they're dictators once out of pocket, because Steven says Steven things like that, that must be the text of the show, because we can't even follow a fucking children's show. I'm so tired.
They have canonically destroyed countless planets, many of them already populated with living beings before they came in to colonize the place. The reason—
Yeah, it's the Fermi paradox, Bubbs. Why would they see any of those creatures as on the same level as them? Do you worry about all the little bunny rabbits that are killed to, like, harvest the vegetables you buy at the supermarket? Do you care about, like, wetlands being paved over to make a new Walmart? Do you cry for all the little frogs and bugs and things that die because of that? No, you don't even think about it, do you? Do you think about the ants you step on every day? No, that's where the diamonds are in their headspace.
For destroying these planets is, of course, to grow their empire that, as far as the show will tell us, only exists to continue growing. Like a plague. Insert images of the injectors that just so happen to bear a striking similarity to bacteriophages.
At least somebody got that one. Yeah, that's pretty fucking deliberate. I noticed that immediately when I first watched the show.
They perpetuate a culture that exists only to glorify the Empire, and more importantly, glorify themselves. Why?
Yeah, because they're basically gods who created a bunch of little people in their own image to serve and worship them. Yeah.
They glorify them because Invader Zim rules, I guess. And if anyone
they're space gods, as I keep saying. Why are you asking why the society is set up this way? The other analogy I like to use...
Scones and Jam sent a super chat. Fascist, but they don't control the railroads.
It's my favorite line from the Barbie movie. She thinks I'm a fascist, but I don't control the railroads or the flow of commerce. But the other analogy I like to use for the diamonds is, think about playing The Sims, right? You have all these little people that are there for you to control, who are there for your enjoyment. So what if one of your Sims starts acting up and not doing what you tell it to? You might try resetting the Sim, kind of like rejuvenation, right? It still doesn't work. And maybe the Sim is starting to fuck up other Sims in the game, so what do? You probably would delete it, right? Just get rid of it outright? nowhere in your mind would you start to think, hey, maybe these Sims are people just like me with their own feelings. That would never cross your mind. That is the Godhead mentality the diamonds are at when we meet them. I mean, for fuck's sake, Greg comes up to Blue and speaks to her in plain English, and she still goes, oh, you cute little critter, I didn't know you could have feelings like that. I'm gonna go put you in Pink's zoo. Like, she still doesn't treat him like a person, you know?
Glorify the Empire, and more importantly, glorify themselves. Why glorify them? Because Invader Zim rules, I guess. And if anyone steps up and requests to express a unique thought or idea, or maybe just makes a mistake one single time, they are shattered into fragments to be recycled or maybe forcibly fused together in
Yeah, Bubbs, it's, the diamonds are also, like, they represent the pressures of society and tradition that seem insurmountable and so much bigger than you. Again, the metaphors are pretty fucking on the nose. It is a children's show. Even children are supposed to be able to follow this. I don't know why grown fucking adults can't. People just have such weird biases toward the show, probably because it's really gay. You've already said two things that sound a little, to me about gay people. So...
unholy experiments. Other options for dissenters include having their memories erased so that they'll return to their duties willingly, having their minds and bodies corrupted until they turn into aimless mutated beasts, or...
Well, the diamonds did that by accident. If they had had Pink with them, I'm sure they would have nullified every gem on Earth with their wave attack, right? Because when Yellow and Blue see the corrupted gems, they are surprised by this. They literally thought they wiped all the gems out. They didn't know this happened. They had no fucking idea. So it's not like they intentionally did this. So this is not like a common punishment for gems. This is something that uniquely happened to the gems on Earth after the diamonds just tried to wipe the whole planet clean after Pink seemingly was assassinated. So, again, you just really shouldn't talk about these things if you don't even know basic lore. I mean, is that so much to ask from people when they talk about shows to at least know the events and the basic lore and have actually watched it? Is that too much to ask?
Even just straight up getting mind controlled. They literally...
That's a power only White has, and because she imposes her worldview on other people and doesn't let anyone else in and refuses to see other people's perspective. That's why in future, when her powers reverse with her new attitude and mentality, it's now her taking in the perspectives of other people instead of the other way around. Again, these metaphors are so fucking on the nose! They're very elegant metaphors, but they're also pretty fucking obvious. They're about as subtle as a sledgehammer to the face.
Literally made races of people explicitly for the purpose of being racist. I don't know what more I even have to say than that.
There's a hierarchy, and people look down on each other based on that hierarchy. That happens in real life too, you know? Which again is why gems are such a multifaceted vehicle for allegory. It can represent a lot of things. Holly Blue and the amethysts at the zoo are actually supposed to be more like a boarding school master and a bunch of, like, delinquent kids. That was actually the vibe they were going for there, so it wasn't just like, she's racist. You know?
Ed Stevens sent a super chat. Ruby was to be shuttered because she took her job beyond very seriously.
I thought it was because she accidentally fused with Sapphire, but yeah.
Miss Jasmine sent a super chat. The forced fusions happened during the gem war, not a normal punishment. The corruption was an accident, not a normal punishment. The mind erasure only happened in the movie. You get the idea.
Yeah, it was kind of a retcon plot device just for the movie, because I think what happened... Actually, yeah, Sugar said she kind of got the idea because one day she accidentally factory reset her phone and lost, like, years of, like, photos and drawings and stuff. And it started getting her thinking, what if that happened to the gems? It's also, like, a really good device for the movie because it kind of enables newcomers to be introduced to these characters and the arcs and the things they've overcome in kind of a quick, bite-sized manner, and it's also funny. I love Pearl's song that she sings when she's rejuvenated, because Dee Dee performs it like it's almost like a preschool teaching song, and it just cracks me the fuck up. Also, thank you for the 10 gifted membership, Shark Jumping Walrus. You're always coming in clutch with that. So if you integrate your Discord and your YouTube accounts, if you've been given a gifted sub, you should get dumped right in the Discord, so you can come join us. Anyway, let's continue with the video.
That. It's not an oopsie. That is a continuous calculated series of ethics violations that they spent tens of thousands.
They're not human. Why would you expect space aliens from a completely different planet to operate by human ethics? That would be pretty fucking stupid. Unless you think human ethics are just something inherently embedded in reality or the universe, like there's some sort of objective morality. Why the fuck would you expect space aliens to operate on the same thought wave as humans and the same ethics as humans? And again, it's the robots learning to be human and aliens learning to be human thing. It's this very narcissistic story us humans write over and over again, where non-human entities learn from us to be more human. You know, it's a pretty simple, well-worn trope, and again, that's a trope you could be talking about if you were even aware of its existence, which you don't seem to be. So, I don't know what to tell you. But just like, oh, well, they should automatically just know human ethics is so counterproductive, and it would just make them less interesting. And again, it's like the Fermi paradox. If a group of aliens came across us, would they even see us as intelligent beings on the same level as them, or would they just wipe us all out? You know? That is one of the scariest things in sci-fi. And the gems are that to a certain extent, because if we see the show from Steven's point of view, but if you were to shift the perspective a little bit, look at all those injectors, look at their ships, a full-scale gem invasion of a planet would be fucking horrifying. And that is one of the scariest concepts in sci-fi, to me personally. Aliens treating us the way we treat other life forms on this planet. I mean, look at, like, factory farming, the way we keep animals as pets, the way we use animals for labor. Imagine an alien species treating us that exact same way and not thinking that we are people. That would be fucking scary. It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be wrong, too. I think Sugar also described Homeworld as a place where no humanity exists. That's why gems who come to Earth are changed by it. They're changed by the Earth, and they're changed by human thought and human ethics. But they have to learn about it first. You can't expect somebody to just know something they've never been introduced to as a concept. You know?
Clyde Albin sent a super chat. Zoomer in The Walking Dead. What do you mean you don't call them walkers? That's what they are.
They're walking, aren't they? Okay, I am starting to get driven a little crazy here. You're just repeating, like, Reddit points. I highly doubt you actually watched the entire show, which I don't know why you would use something as an example if you haven't even fucking seen it and you're not familiar with it, but people do that.
Thousands of years doing. It's not even that it's unbelievable that anyone would be willing to forgive them. It's straight up impossible. It is not enough.
Again, you're just saying, well, I wouldn't forgive them. Okay. That's you. Also, they're not necessarily forgiven. I mean, lots of gems still kind of are cool with the diamonds because the diamonds are their creators. You know, basically.
Not even that it's unbelievable that anyone would be willing to forgive them. It's straight up impossible.
Gems also kind of, they seem to operate in one way and one way only until they are given new information. You know, they're very straightforward like that. So they can kind of adapt quickly if they're given a reason to. We've seen many gems do that, aside from Jasper. That's kind of the point, is she's very stubborn.
impossible. It is not enough to take a little bath with everybody. It is not enough to say you'll do better.
A little bath with everybody, that's what they needed to do to uncorrupt all the gems. They needed the essence of all 4 diamonds to uncorrupt the gems. So, you didn't understand the point of the scene. Again, you think corruption is, like, a routine thing that is done and not something that uniquely happened to gems on Earth. So, I don't think you watched the show. Or you watched it a long, long-ass time ago and you don't remember a lot.
Wonder Platinum sent a super chat. Need an SU game that's Half-Life 2 now. Steven in the 7-hour war.
There's an AU for somebody to write. Get on it.
Bylonic sent a super chat. Imagine aliens treating us as an invasive species.
What if we are? What if we were seeded by aliens and they come back and go, oh shit, they've ruined the planet. We need to get rid of these things we put here. You know, again, Furby paradox.
Enough to take a little bath with everybody. It is not enough to say you'll do better from now on, and it's not enough.
They don't just say they'll do better from now on. We are shown them doing better and trying to be better. I mean, what you're complaining about is we saw characters put on the path to redemption, but didn't see a redemption arc. We just saw the beginning of their path to redemption. So you're just complaining about the first steps of redemption, which are important. I mean, if you want people to change, you gotta give them a chance to do it. You can't just go, oh, what, you're trying to change? Well, you're not doing enough. I don't forgive you. It's like, what? Then nothing changes and nothing is accomplished. You know, you just want to be bitter and angry.
Not even that it's unbelievable that anyone would be willing to forgive them. It's straight up impossible. It is not enough to take a little bath with everybody. It is not enough to say you'll do better from now on, and it's not enough to know that you guys were running your universe-spanning slave state as such because you were all being too hard on yourselves.
I mean, you're calling it a slave state, but they literally created gems in their own image to serve them. Like the space gods they are. It's a little more nuanced than that. And also, like, why the fuck do you just want to make the species less interesting? Each gem is created for a specific purpose. You know, they're built for a specific purpose. It's a little bit... They're like an insect hive, where you have specialized members of the species, and only the queens are the reproductive members. The diamonds are the only reproductive members of the species. They put the diamond essence in the ground and combine it in different ways to make gems. So, it's like an insect hive. It's also a bit like Plato's Republic. So, just boiling it down to, they're slaves, is just kind of... This is kind of fucking retarded, but...
Master Clockwork sent a super chat. What did the diamonds do that require redemption? The Earth is fine. We can't project our morals onto what was just them propagating their species.
I mean, we can, but still, I mean, yeah, they're like, oh, well, but they invented gems just to serve them. It's like, okay, yeah, they did, and what they have to learn that it's wrong to treat them that way. How can they inherently, instinctually know that, especially when they're not even human, and they made these people for themselves, for their own purposes?
There's nothing you can do to make up for that besides going away forever. You don't deserve to lead anyone if a middle school...
They did, though. They gave up their authority and rulership, and are now serving the servants they made for themselves. That's what they're doing. Blue is helping Gems feel better with her Xanax clouds. Yellow is putting shattered gems back together now that she knows she can do that. Yellow was probably doing the forced fusion experiments because she was trying to find a way to make shattered gems useful again. But now she finds she can actually piece them back together and fix their forms permanently, even if they're missing a piece. And White is doing her Pilates guru mom bullshit where she's going around taking other people's perspectives into herself. She's still kind of a bitch. But, you know, they're trying! They're trying!
Has to tell you that using an unholy amalgam of the corpses of your enemies to destroy a planet with intelligent life on it out of spite is not a thing you should do.
Out of spite for Pink dying there. That is why Yellow wanted to destroy the Earth out of grief. You know?
This section ended up turning into a Steven Universe rant a little bit. I guess it's just been on my...
You should have edited your script. When did you last watch this show? Did you ever watch this show? Because you said a bunch of wrong things. So...
my mind because of the upcoming spin-off series, which I will be watching because I love Lars and was sad that his space pirate content was cut from the original series.
Oh, they like Lars. They like Lars. That explains everything. Terrible taste. Terrible, terrible taste.
Even if I wish Cartoon Network would start investing in new ideas or series that didn't really get a chance to go as far as it could have.
Well, Steven Universe didn't have a chance to go as far as it could have. So that's... come on. They wanted to make Lars of the Stars for fucking ever. You could see it in, like, the early concepts in the art books. This was the show Rebecca Sugar actually wanted to make. Let's be real.
Miss Jasmine sent a super chat. The Diamonds needed Steven to show them another way cause they didn't even consider that there was another way.
Exactly! How can you know there's another way if you're never presented with one? Why do you expect aliens to just automatically know human ethics? Human ethics which we have developed over time throughout our own bloody, violent history of abusing and enslaving and killing each other. You know?
Like OKKO. Really though, I truly cannot think of a worse presentation.
Did you just compare it to her husband's show?
Really get a chance to go as far as it could have, like OKKO. Really though, I truly cannot think of a worse presentation of this particular trope. I'll be interested to see if you have some worse examples.
What was even the trope? They're not even forgiven. They're put on the path to redemption, give up their ruling power, and are starting to make amends with the people they created that they hurt. So what trope are you complaining about here exactly? Again, none of your examples have made any fucking sense this entire video.
In the comments, though, you know, please give spoiler warnings if they're needed. I do like to check out the stuff you guys talk about, and I like going in blind. Let's not spoil the ending of another anime for me. Or others in the comments, please. Anyways, at best, this trope is just lazy writing with kind of irresponsible
I hope I didn't spoil Attack on Titan and FMA for you then.
Messaging, and at worst, it can single-handedly ruin an otherwise fantastic story while also treating victims of abuse as beings without agency and therefore undeserving of consequence. Which is...
What? Where the hell are you even getting that from, except, like, the deepest regions of your own ass? What?
It's a recipe for real-life harm in many ways. Unlike the previous thing, I don't really...
So you're saying Steven Universe could call real-life harm. Now that's a lily-ass take. That is a lily-ass take.
Know a way that something like this could be good outside of maybe comedic settings, but I'm willing to be proven wrong if anyone wants to try. However, for now, I shall move on to my next trope.
Okay.
Who are you?
Oh boy. Okay, I'm gonna take my break real quick because I kind of have to pee. I really have to pee after all that. And I need to go feed my pets. So I'm gonna leave you guys with some nice soothing music. We can all digest what we just heard, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Let the super chat go through.
Master Clockwork sent a super chat. Oh god, another I've been abused, so you're not allowed to make media featuring abuse. That really is a lork take.
Yeah, besides the bad Steven Universe takes and the bad zombie genre takes, my biggest problem with Bubbs so far has been, well, I wouldn't do that, so no character ever should do that. And it's like, that's not how anything works. I'm sorry. But, okay. Pre-mortem character growth? Oh, you mean like characters being developed right before they're killed off. Maybe this is something we can agree on. Maybe you can redeem yourself. Maybe you'll have a redemption arc, Bubbs, but there's an SU section. I'm kind of riled up now. That section might have to be an edit, because fucking hell, are we still having these takes on Steven Universe in the year of our Lord 2025? I still can't believe there's like, you obviously watched the show a long time ago and didn't pay attention, and you don't have an encyclopedic and autistic knowledge of it like I do, but still, you shouldn't talk on shows when you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You know, I'm just saying. Yeah, Bubbs never watched pool hopping. Many such cases. Many such cases. Yeah, I don't think I talk about Steven Universe that much, I say, as I'm drawing Steven Universe fan art, but... You say run? I don't know what that is, Kaiser. Anyway, this is Bubsy. What could possibly go wrong? Anyway, let's continue. Let's continue.
This is basically just an offshoot of the previous trope, but I do think it's kind of its own thing. Here, I'm talking about when a character, either previously evil or previously mostly a side character, receives an immense amount of attention in the writer's room moments before they die. You've seen it before, I'm sure. First things first, this is just lazy writing again. I get it. Sometimes there's just...
Well, I mean, this is the he was only 2 days away from retirement trope, where a character, like, has a death flag on them. Like, actually, the example I could think of is, at the end of Dustborn, with Theo suddenly turning to us and saying, hey, by the way, if anything happens to me, can you tell my family? And then he dies, like, 5 minutes later. You know? Or the beginning of Assassin's Creed 2 is one that always sticks out of my mind, where you have a fun time with your brother, and your brother's like, ah, brother, this is the good life. We're living so good. Nothing could go wrong. And it's like, oh, he dead. He dead.
I get it. Sometimes there's just been no time to actually develop a character properly before the moment where you plan to kill them. Or a self-sacrificing moment is the best way to redeem a villain character. But 9 times out of 10, this feels like just a shortcut to try and add in...
I mean, I did say that earlier. It is a shortcut where it's like, oh, if the bad guy dies, you know, saving the good guy, or doing, you know, sacrifices themselves for a good cause. That's redemption. That's a very shorthand for redemption, and yeah, it can get kind of annoying, but, you know, it is a trope. It is a way to communicate something to an audience.
Emotional depth to a character so that their death feels more meaningful. Though this...
And again, none of these are, again, not art tropes. Only one of these was an actual art trope. The pretty good guy and ugly villain was the only one that was actually an art trope. These are writing tropes, and writing tropes... you're not even really depicting properly. It's so strange.
Just a shortcut to try and add in some emotional depth to a character so that their death feels more meaningful, though this frequently backfires in my experience. In many instances, the sudden development of a previously undeveloped character is an obvious red flag that something terrible is about to happen to them, which takes all the shock out of it. I also tend to get extremely annoyed at surrounding characters for mourning the dead guy that I don't even remember them holding a conversation with previously, or, in some cases, watched them repeatedly bully or dismiss. No, I do not.
I was gonna say, examples? So your example of this is Angel Dust feeling bad that Serpentius died? It's not like Angel was, like, rending his clothes and sobbing as if Serpentius was his favorite, as his best friend or something. I don't know, Sylvester, what do you think? Do you think that's gonna happen in my comic? Do you think that's what I'm leading up to here, Sylvester? I don't know. Anyway, so, yeah, you can be upset that an ally in battle died, that can be an upsetting thing, but is it like Angel Dust was, like, weeping in his bed for days on end after Serpentius died, you know? It's like... Yeah. No, I love that joke. I love that. I laughed so fucking hard. Actually, let's just watch that scene. I bet I can play just that part and be fine. Serpentius' death. Because it's funny! And that's the humor of Has-Been in Hell of a Boss. Subverting, like, big moments with a stupid joke. It's good. It's good shit. It's good shit. So there's all this build-up. There's all this build-up, and then it's undercut with an anticlimax.
Eggs, activate thrusters and charge the death ray.
Yes, sir!
By the way, the Egg Boys are also voiced by Blake Roman, who plays Angel Dust, which is my favorite fact.
That crazy motherfucker.
Target in range!
Fire.
What? That could have been ugly.
So, a character in one shot feeling bad that somebody died means they're, like, in grief over it. I don't think so, Bubbs, but dear God, the timing on that is so good. I laughed the first time, I laugh every time I see it. It's so good.
It's all the shock out of it. I also tend to get extremely annoyed at surrounding characters for mourning the dead guy that I don't even remember them holding a conversation with previously, or, in some cases, watched them repeatedly bully or dismiss. No, I do not buy that you'd actually mourn this fool. One of the worst—
I mean, hold on a second, Bubbs. Say there was someone you didn't like, and you dismiss them, and you make fun of them, maybe you bully them a little. If you saw that person walk across the street and get horrifically hit by a truck, I think you'd still be upset, right? At least I fucking hope so, otherwise you might be a complete psychopath.
offenders here is The Walking Dead show. Yes, we're bringing it back again.
For God's
and this
sakes!
was one of several reasons I gave up watching after season 8 when I realized season 7 was a fluke.
Jesus Christ, you made it to season 8, I only made it to season 2 before I gave up on The Walking Dead?
Because it was exhausting. Many of the main characters at a certain point obtain some crazy plot armor, so what they do very often to make the universe still feel like it was dangerous—
I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure what's his name, Norman Reedus. I'm pretty sure he, like, made sure he got a contract that he couldn't be killed off because he loved being on the show so much. But yeah, that does hamper the writing. You can't kill somebody who has a contract for, like, 5 more seasons, you know? It's kind of a thing.
Watching after season 8 when I realized season 7 was a fluke, because it was exhausting. Many of the main characters at a certain point obtain some crazy plot armor, so what they do very often to make the universe still feel like it was dangerous is take a very minor character that may or may not have even had lines previously, suddenly give them a role and a purpose within the show for an episode, only to immediately kill them that same episode. How touching and emotionally impactful of you, Walking Dead show. Thank you so much.
Yeah, there's a lot of shows with lazy writing like that. Like, I think Attack on Titan kind of did get like that a little bit in places where it's like, oh, we're gonna introduce all these new characters and then kill them because we have to keep the main trio alive. You know?
Second thing I don't like about this trope is that it very rarely makes sense, at least for the villainous types of characters that get subjected to this. When we're dealing with a villain that is killed as a means to defeat them, I never understand what I'm supposed to get out of being told their backstory right before their fate. I have to imagine it's for the melodrama again, but this time it doesn't even make sense. You're not rushing to give them some endearing personality traits or character motivations right before they die, you're just giving me a lore drop that rarely has anything to do with what's happened.
Well, you're also talking about— oh yeah, Stranger Things is very guilty of this, you're right, yeah, you're right. But, what was I— fuck, you made me forget what I was gonna say. What did they say? Oh no, you're talking about network television. You're talking about network television. The thing about network television is it's usually structured so viewers can just drop in on any episode and still be able to follow it. So a lot of episodes will still have a beginning, middle, end. They'll still have a little mini arc for a character. So it's not unusual to introduce a character, give them a little arc, and then kill them at the end. Because that's one complete story within one episode that a viewer who maybe hasn't watched since, like, season 3 can just drop in and watch and go, oh, I understand what's going on. You know, it is a bit of a limitation of the medium and the format, which you also have to keep in mind when talking about how things are written, you know, because those do affect it.
The QA signboard sent a super chat. Why is Vor a fetish? The concept is terrifying.
I don't know, but now we have to have our joke. I see Miss Jasmine got
Dana
it.
_brain sent a super chat. With Richard L. Jenkins from Mass Effect.
He was just a red shirt. Come on.
Miss Jasmine sent a super chat. 0 days since Vor was last mentioned.
Yep, that's my classic joke that I always do.
Master Clockwork sent a super chat. I admit I hate this. Bleach did it all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it is a symptom of shows that go on for a while, too, where they don't want to kill off the main characters, so they have to find another way to wring the emotions out of you. So yeah, there's a lot of shows that are guilty of this, but it's also a function of just the format, you know, of a weekly TV show, which, again, is the reason why I kind of like streaming, even though people are like, oh, but there's only 8 episodes, but yeah, but the episodes can be as long as they want. They can plan things out better. It's more like a mini-series. I actually prefer that to 26 episode seasons of network television that have to stretch things out and find ways to keep people paying attention and coming back and feeling things, you know?
Drop that rarely has anything to do with what's happening right now. Telling me someone had a shitty childhood or a dead wife doesn't actually change my mind on whether or not I think it's okay to do war crimes, because experiencing trauma doesn't mean you get to go out of your way to give other people trauma. Refer to the previous video chapter for more details. I would argue that this actually—
I mean, we are talking about people living in a fucked up post-apocalyptic scenario where almost everyone was going to certainly die eventually. I mean, people aren't necessarily going to be on their best behavior in that situation.
Miss Jasmine sent a super chat. Akame ga Kill was really bad with this. It got to the point that you could instantly tell when a character was gonna die every time.
But then you could just, like, meme it, you know? But yeah, but see, Bubbs is, again, doing this Zoomer thing where every single show has to be a morality play that teaches you how to live. Rather than, like, a show like The Walking Dead, you're just supposed to watch these characters in these scenarios and the human drama that comes from the conflicts between them. You're not supposed to, like, say, oh, I need to live my life this way. Like, if you really want to analyze media and analyze stories, Bubbs, you gotta get out of this mentality that everything has to present to you, like, moralistic lessons. You're like, yeah, you see that in a lot of kids shows that you watch and have grown up with, but you maybe need to branch out a little bit here, because you're kind of trying to apply kids show logic to something like the fucking Walking Dead. Like, I'd hate to see how these people would deal with any, like, really complex movies with morally gray characters like the fucking Prestige or something, or trying to think of anything else, or even a comedy like Death to Smoochie where there's, like, no real good guys, you know? It's like, how would you handle something like that?
It reduces the emotional impact of the villain's defeat, because rather than cheering that the bastard is finally dead, I'm just sitting there feeling awkward and unsatisfied as the creators of the story really try to push the idea that I'm supposed to be sad. The other form of this thing, where the villain dies willingly—
Animal Farm's another good one, ends terribly, no real good guys. 1984, another good example of no real good guys, you know? I don't know why Death to Smoochie was the first thing that came to my mind. I think I was thinking of Rainbow Randolph recently, because something similar came up, and I got Death to Smoochie on the brain again. I love that movie.
As a way to save others, also leaves me kind of confused with a bad taste in my mouth. Just like how I left your mom last night. I'm very sorry, but not sorry enough to remove the joke from my script.
You left... Why did you give someone's mom a bad taste in her mouth? What are you implying about yourself there? Bubbs, I don't know. So you had 2 vaguely lesbophobic comments, and then you say that. That's interesting.
If a character has spent the entire story dedicated to torturing people, killing people, taking advantage of people in all the worst ways, just generally demonstrating a complete lack of empathy and care for their fellow man, I cannot be convinced that they'd want to sacrifice their lives.
I don't think you were supposed to like Billy, and by the time he sacrificed himself, he was really far gone, wasn't he? I'm having trouble remembering the earlier seasons of Stranger Things now. Like, the first season was perfect. First season was pretty much perfect. And then, I mean, the other seasons aren't bad, but they're just not the same, you know? Yeah, I have the Prestige on the brain now, too, because I watched a really interesting video recently that argued that there was never a cloning machine in the Prestige, and it was pretty interesting.
Bylonic sent a super chat. Their ideal story sounds boring.
Yeah, also kind of a Lily-esque take.
Hikaru sent a super chat. Teaches you how to live? That's a thing? I thought we were meant to carelessly fumble through life with a bottle at hand. Am I wrong?
Nobody knows what they're doing. Okay, I guess calling the Diamonds all sisters after doubting that they were family isn't precisely lesbophobic, but a lot of people do see Yellow and Blue as a couple, so it's kind of like, it's a little just, I don't know, it's a little, I'm getting a whiff here is all, you know, just a little tiny whiff.
The ultimate selfless act, without a lot of personal growth beforehand.
Master Clockwork sent a super chat. Not everyone likes fish.
I disavow.
One little conversation and a shocked and introspective facial expression isn't gonna do it for me, Chief, with or without the montage of the villain growing up and experiencing the joy of being alive or whatever. I'd much more easily buy into the idea that they would be happiest seeing the world burn with them in it. At least that way they'd be alive to laugh at the ship while it goes down. Don't get me wrong, I don't actually despise the concept of a morally dark or gray character sacrificing their lives in the effort to save the hero or the world or whatever. I mean, I have characters of my own whose fate is exactly that.
Oh no, we're going into the my OCs argument. Oh no, oh no.
The ultimate sacrifice can be a really fitting conclusion to a redemption arc, and
well, yeah, Jinu is 100% the bad guy redeems himself by dying. He is like, fucking K-pop Demon Hunters is just so cliche and so tropey, and there isn't an original thing in it, except the basic concept. But it still works really well, because it's very well executed and very well crafted. So, K-pop Demon Hunters is my current favorite example of how you don't have to be original. You don't have to avoid cliches and tropes in order to make something really good, and something that really resonates. You know, it is a bog standard good versus evil story for kids, but the dressing of it is new and fresh and fun, and it embraces what it is, and it's very well executed and very well written with good character work, you know? So it doesn't matter that it's pretty unoriginal, you know? Originality does not matter as much as creativity and bringing new things to it, you know? And I will argue that up and down. I used to be the opposite. I used to be like this person, where it's like, oh, you have to be fully original, you have to come up with completely new things in order to be good, and, you know, the author's word is the law, and, you know, and now I've done a complete 180 over the course of my life, so...
that. The ultimate sacrifice can be a really fitting conclusion to a redemption arc, and or pretty much the only way that a character could truly begin to make amends for the things that they've done.
I stand Sang-woo still, fuck you. my friends and I have this joke, because when we were watching Squid Game together, I kept standing Sang-woo and go, no, Sang-woo is probably not that much of a douchebag. No, Sang-woo is good. He wouldn't betray Ali like that. I was so in denial, probably because Sang-woo is probably how I would be in that situation. Let's be real.
But in those instances, there is at least time dedicated to proving that the character has had a change of heart or has been shown previously to be a morally complex individual, and that they'd be actually willing to do the right thing even if it means the wrong decision for them. That is not—
Well, I mean, no one's doing the right thing in Squid Game. The whole thing is sick. You know, it's kind of the point.
The case with these types of stories. With these types of stories, much like the instant forgiveness thing, a switch just seems to flip, and then the bad guy will rush in to save the day. And it only burns my ass more when the thing the bad guy is stopping is something the bad guy literally caused. Like, oh no, I must stay behind in the detonating facility to stop the mega explosion that I tried to set off, but I can just—
Why is that a bad thing? Oh, it's a good point, Feni Kagegame and, over at Twitch. You know what else is superior to originality? Sincerity. So many projects just won't embrace what they are sincerely. True, earnestness, sincerity, that can also go a long way, even if you have the most unoriginal idea in the world, you know?
QA Signboard sent a super chat. I love stories where everyone's an asshole.
Trying to think of a few. I guess Scott Pilgrim, especially the movie. Fucking, I don't know, like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. I'm kind of with all sorts of weird examples. That's the thing, I'm not really a cinephile. There's a lot of movies I haven't seen, and movies I have seen are all these, like, weird, obscure ones. So, I don't know what's wrong with me. Archer, It's Always Sunny. Yeah. That's everybody is an asshole right there. Yeah. Maybe BoJack Horseman to a certain extent, but the point isn't that they're all assholes. Arrested Development, another very, very good example. Haven't seen Weapons. I heard it was good, though.
To hack the mainframe in time, I can contain the explosion to my exact location. Dude, if you're really that changed inside, why are you trying to set off the mega explosion in the first place, huh? Seems a little short-sighted.
They realized it was a bad idea, and then they sacrificed themselves to make up for it. It's just, yeah, it's shorthand. It's shorthand for villain redemption. Okay, you can think that's lazy, but it doesn't mean it can't ever be executed well. I can't think of a precise example where it was right now. I mean, I know I've seen this trope over and over again in a million fucking things. I know I have. But I can't think of a good example of, like, the bad guy stays behind to make up for what they did. I mean, not a bad guy, but, like, that's kind of Morden from Mass Effect, the Mass Effect series, where he was the originator of the genophage that was used against the Krogan to make them not able to breed as much, and he sacrifices himself to disperse a cure in the end, so, I mean, he's not a villain per se, but that was still a pretty fucked up thing he did, and he gave his life to rectify it, so, you know.
Decided if you were having doubts. Unless, of course, you weren't having doubts, and then we're back on me not being able to believe that you'd ever do this in a million years.
Again, your baseline here is, well, I wouldn't do that. Well, okay, that's you in real life, but you should be looking at the text of a fictional work and what it is communicating to you, and base your opinion on that instead of just, well, I wouldn't do that. So it's not realistic. I wouldn't do that.
Master Clockwork sent a super chat. Whoa, hey, that's literally the plot in Spider-Man 2 with Blackhawk.
You're
right! Do not besmirch Spidey 2.
Yeah, actually, Spidey 2 was the only Spider-Man movie I liked before Spider-Verse.
This person would hate Spider-Man 2.
2 people use that as an example. That's like was that what you were thinking of, Bubbs? That exact movie?
Entire trope is just so counterintuitive. Honestly, I think there is much more narrative value in killing a character we never got the chance to know, and I'm serious when I say that. Seeing a character we didn't get to spend time with or didn't learn much about get cut down out of nowhere is infinitely more tragic to me than getting a 10-minute canned backstory shoved down my throat before you throw the guy into the sun.
So what, you feel more for, like, the red shirts that are just on the one Star Trek mission to just die as soon as they get there than you do a character that was developed at least a little bit before they die? That doesn't make any sense. Like, there's, like, did you cry about, like, background extras getting smashed to pieces in, like, Godzilla movies or something? Like, Your points are so confusing to me.
As many gripes as I have with Attack on Titan, that is something I think it actually does very well. There are lots of characters that we truly never got the opportunity to understand before their lives were abruptly and cruelly cut short without warning. And this goes...
You don't think Armin, Mikasa, and Eren kinda have plot armor? So does, what's his face? Horse guy. Horse face guy. John. Oh god, it's been a while since I've watched AOT. I've read the ending of the manga, but I gotta watch the last season still. I mean, I've seen clips, but, I mean, I know how it ends, but I still gotta get around. I should just rewatch the whole damn thing at some point. I really don't like the dub, though. It's not even the voice acting, it's the way the dialogue is written. It's really fucking corny. At least it was at first.
It was for enemies and allies, and that really elevated a lot of the themes that the show was going for in a brilliant way. I cannot imagine how obnoxious it would have been if we had to sit through clunky and ham-fisted expository dialogue before every character death just to try and ensure we'll be sad enough.
Well, yeah, because that isn't really the point of Attack on Titan, to just make you feel bad for people dying. The point of Attack on Titan is actually, like, human violence is unending and will always be in us and will always be violent to each other. That's really the conclusion of Attack on Titan. You know, that's all it's really saying in the end, is that human violence in conflict is just unending and always will be. You know? It's not a cheery series that's telling you how to live life, you know? It is one of those series where we're just watching these people live their lives and coming to our own conclusions about their actions. The show never tells you to take one side or the other, it just shows you the cycle of war and violence using this fantastical setting. And that's really all it is about. And Eren himself is so interesting is because Eren is obsessed with this kind of impossible idea of freedom, of not being tied down to anything. And that wouldn't be possible unless he was, like, the only human in the world. And that's kind of how he ends up coming to his conclusion. But the irony with Eren is he is bound by fate to do the rumbling and try to kill everyone on Earth except for the Paradisians. So he is the character most obsessed with his own freedom and own free will, but he's bound himself to fate. It's really hard to explain the ending of Attack on Titan. There's a lot of... It's not even time travel, per se. It's, I don't even know how to describe it, but... Trust me, it's very interesting when you read it. It's really hard to describe. I would actually, if you want to learn more about that, I would recommend, I think it was him that did it. It was either him or Savage Books. Yes. Sage's Reign. Eren Has Never Changed, Understanding Eren Yeager. I highly, highly, highly recommend this video. It's a very, very good look at Eren's character. And also Sage's Reign is great. He always has this soothing, like, nice rain music in the background. He's got, like, a really nice voice, really even voice, and he's just nice to listen to. But this is a very, very good video. I've watched this through a few times. I like it a lot.
Once again, I'm sure there are ways to lean into it for comedy and satire, but as is, this is just one of those things that I've never seen pulled off well. It's irritating over anything, really. Let's get on to number 5.
No, it's okay. That's not really a trope as much as, well, I guess it is. It is kind of a trope that he was only 2 days away from retirement, learning the tragic backstory as they're dying. I mean, fuck, even Metal Gear Solid does that shit, you know? It is just kind of lazy writing, but it's also shorthand you can expect an audience to understand. So, I don't think it could ever... I don't think you could say it can never be done well, you know? And of course, sometimes it is played for comedy, you know? You have a character with an extended dying scene where it seems like they're gonna die over and over again, then they pop back up and just keep talking and telling their tragic backstory. It's so funny. I guess AG Faz, I mean, Kojima, I have a love-hate relationship with his writing. He is a genius, he is a mad auteur, but sometimes I really fucking hate his writing. He seems to take, like, American action movie tropes a little too seriously. He's the anti-David Cage, though, because he actually kind of makes it work in a weird way. Okay, this is not even an art trope. This is just, I hate harem anime, and don't we all? So, the only harem I will say like this that works, and I actually like, is this obscure manga called Ninja Girls. Where the main guy that they're all thirsting over is actually, like, an interesting character in his own right, and he's actually, like, not, like, a pervert or anything. So, but, the manga's still a bit cheesecakey, but...
Lillian Liker sent a super chat. For Aaron, do you mean a self-fulfilling prophecy?
It is a self-fulfilling prophecy in, like, the most literal sense of the word. Aaron is manipulating events from the future to put himself in this scenario, and now he realizes in the past that it's inescapable. Again, it's really hard to explain, but the way it plays out is very interesting.
Invoicing Emu sent a super chat. When I left they couldn't decide whether they liked average-looking characters or not. What did I miss?
You missed the whole Steven Universe rant, which turned me against this video a lot. But, now we're gonna talk about harem animes, which I don't think I'll have any objections, but how is this an art trope? This is, again, a writing trope. It's not even, like, it's a genre trope. It's just, like, a wish fulfillment genre for lonely otaku men who goon to anime girls. Like,
I'll be honest.
You guys just want to skip this chapter? It is getting kind of late, isn't it? And also, like I said, you could watch Bubbs' entire video on your own. I don't really want to, like, stream chimp them, you know. Why is Grell here? Wait a minute! Why is Grell here? Hang on a second.
Why is it so common in these situations for the protagonist to actually dislike the whole getting hit on by 3 people at one time thing? Is it just so that there's more drama and you can pad out the show? It's probably it, but if not, I have no clue. What? Get Grell back in here? At least frame it in the way they did. No, it wasn't. It was weird. Now shut up. I'm trying to listen to my queen. Oftentimes in media, when a woman gets...
Why is Grell here? Anyway, there's something I have to play now. There's one clip I need to play.
Red is the color of fiery passion, and I am flaming.
I bet that was an ad lib. And I am flaming.
Fawned over by 2 or more men. God, this section is so hetero. Can we get Grell?
You want to talk about hetero? Why were you kind of going like, oh, you're lesbian lovers? That's some excuse earlier. I'm just saying. Okay, we'll skip the harem section because we're probably just gonna agree for the most part. I just wanted to know why the fuck Grell was here, and I still don't really know.
You and the chosen.
Supernaturally gifted protagonist. Yeah, Black Butler was kind of ass, but Grell was funny.
Vale Munoz sent a super chat. Harem is pure fan service, at least to me.
Yeah, usually. Except someone's gonna bring up, like, an actually good one.
Indie Gotcha sent a super chat. On harem anime everyone PLS check out Tenchi Muyo.
Tenchi Muyo was kind of like... It's not truly the first harem anime, but it popularized the genre. But it doesn't have a lot of the problems more modern harem animes have. So it's kind of interesting. Like, the girls are, like, actual diverse characters, and the guy isn't just a blank slate, really.
Silver Star Strike sent a super chat. Bubbs' video feels like a nothing burger TBH.
Yeah, kinda is. We've had some interesting discussions bouncing off of it, so... Yeah, the video's 57 fucking minutes long. I think a lot of these sections could have been broken up into their own videos. Like, this didn't need to be this long.
Lillian Liker sent a super chat. Book of Circus was a banger, the rest of BB is okay.
Is that, like, later? I only saw the anime. I only saw the original anime. That's what I watched, so, I mean, it was okay, but it didn't really stick with me much, and a lot of it was kind of dumb, you know, but...
This one is probably going to be my most controversial section, which is why it's at the end. Well,
okay.
Unless a bunch of people are just obsessed with zombies. Or unless I get another crowd that gets upset when you point out blatant misogyny in the media they consume. But...
Well, I mean, I had more problems with your zombie points.
Yes, there is definitely something that irks me about the concept of a chosen one protagonist. They're born with or come to inherit some kind of mystical ability that means they're capable of crazy things.
I mean, it's they, but they better talk about fucking Kirito if you're gonna talk about this shit. Did you bring up Kirito in the harem section? What did you bring up? Soul Eater? You're talking about harem anime, and you bring up Black Butler, Soul Eater, and Oran Host Club? Are you saying, well, these are the ones for girls?
And people are capable of enjoying things in nuanced ways. My first 3 anime, no joke, were Black Butler, Soul Eater, and Oran High School Host Club.
Okay, so my theory that you're in your 20s is coming to fruition here.
Lillian Lycurus sent a super chat. TLDR Book of Circus is Black Butler deciding Season 2 never happened and picking back up from where they went anime only in Season 1.
Huh. Oh, you know what? I think I did start watching that, but I didn't finish it. Maybe I will one of these days. Wasn't there like another boy and another demon? Or is that something else? Or is that the bad Season 2? I don't know. No, okay, they're saying this is their first anime. What actual harem anime are you talking about, though? Oh, well, modern slop, it looks like. Modern seasonal slop, which who the fuck cares? It's garbage to sell Blu-rays to perverts. High School DxD. Talking about the sexy cat girl and Soul Eater. No, we're just gonna still skip this section. Fuck it, fuck it. Fuck it, like, let's not get distracted.
Lillian Lycurus sent a super chat. Yes. That is the bad Season 2 you're thinking about.
Well, yes, I did stop watching it, so... that's what made me think, oh, maybe that was the bad Season 2, then. Well, maybe I'll check out Book of Circus, then, if you're saying it's pretty solid. Anyway, so let's go back to the Chosen One thing. But the Chosen Ones go back all the way to, like, our earliest stories, our myths, our legends. Like, that is the oldest trope, probably. You know? When storytelling was so much more simple, before we had all of this narrative to build on, and all these conventions and rules and expectations and the language we use to communicate ideas through fiction, like, stories didn't have to make any fucking sense back then, you know?
Blatant misogyny in the media they consume. But, yes, there is definitely something that irks me about the concept of a chosen one protagonist. They're born with or come to inherit some kind of mystical ability that means they're capable of crazy things and just ahead of the curve without having to do anything on their own, really. Let me first say that...
I mean, part of that is also a wish fulfillment fantasy. Wouldn't you like to just have superpowers and be awesome all the time? Yeah, I think we all would like that. It's not realistic, but it's usually not trying to be.
Unlike most of the other things on this list, this isn't something that typically takes away from my enjoyment of a piece of media. I can get bored of zombies, I can get upset at sloppy writing, and I can get irritated at the unrealistic antics of anime characters, but there's really nothing that's wrong with having your protagonist being the chosen one or being born with some special power, at least as far as I'm concerned. I'm not against the concept on its surface. My issue is with the execution and how it can often make the protagonist far less compelling. Maybe I just have a proclivity to root for the underdog, but I do much prefer watching a character start from a very low position and fight and scratch against the grain to get their way to greatness through hard work and grit.
Well, Poe was kind of a chosen one, though, because he was told he was a chosen one, at least. That's what motivated him. I don't know about Luz. Was Luz a chosen one, or is she just like an accidental hero turned badass? I still haven't seen Hoot House. I know you're all gonna get on my ass about that. I will watch Hoot House one of these days, just so I can rip apart Lily's opinions on Hunter for you guys.
That usually comes hand in hand with a lot of character depth, and especially a lot of character agency, which
Okay, so Luz is Luz is basically an isekai protagonist, right? I mean, it's an isekai, it is.
Really be lacking in our special power-having heroes. These guys tend to be almost exclusively dependent on their special trait that they maybe did not do anything to earn to solve their problems, and many of their problems end up being directly related to learning how to use their special trait, or the responsibility put on them due to them having said trait. Sure, I
I mean, saying everyone always has to earn their special traits kind of seems a little... I don't know, that's a little odd, don't you think? I mean, some people are just born with a savant talent for something. Are you telling them, well, that you're bad because you didn't earn that? You just started out with a proclivity for the specific thing? I mean, yeah, I'm a little confused on this point.
I absolutely adored Tangled before I realized my favorite character was voiced by a face-eating leopard. But Rapunzel to me is much more of a passenger in her story compared to other Disney ladies like Mulan or even Mirabelle. Rapunzel has plenty of...
Cause there wasn't a whole lot of story there to work with. Oh man, the fucking 3D aged really badly, huh? Ugh, that looks kinda ugh.
The QA signboard sent a super chat. The Lego Movie is a great subversion of this trope.
You know, I've heard that, and I really should watch it. But, like, I mean, one, there wasn't a lot of story to work with, but they did try to make her as proactive as they could, within the confines of the original tale, at least. I mean, oh, yeah, Tangle's a fine movie. I think it's fine. I don't think it's anything special, but it's... You know, it works. It's a good movie for kids.
But Rapunzel to me is much more of a passenger.
I'm not a very big Disney Pixar fan, guys. So like, I don't like a lot of their movies. So
story compared to other Disney ladies like Mulan or even Mirabelle. Rapunzel.
Well, see, okay. One thing though. Yeah. None of these people have powers, really. None of them do. But Rapunzel and Mulan are both based off of old stories, and Encanto is a completely original work. So it seems odd to compare the three, even though Encanto does follow a lot of this sort of mythic storytelling that you would get in old fairy tales and old legends and stories, but it just seems odd to compare two things that are based off old traditional stories to something that's a completely original work that is still kind of in that fairy tale structure. I don't know. Let's see where they're going with this.
Rapunzel has plenty of identifiable character traits that make her charming and interesting, and she is pretty self-sufficient and clever for a girl who grew up in an isolated tower. But the climax of the film, the emotional height of it all, has nothing to do with those things. She just randomly turns out to have magical tears. I'm not trying to discount how beautiful and emotionally powerful the scene is.
Okay, well, that's not a chosen one trope, that's a healing tears trope. I mean, someone cries on a dead or dying person and they come back to life is also a very well-worn trope. Or they kiss them and they come back to life. Fuck, even The Matrix did that. But, so you're talking about a completely different trope in your chosen one section, Bubbs. Again, this video is just very confusing.
The QA signboard sent a super chat. Not a Disney fan? Time to hand in your millennial card. Sigh.
Hey, I grew up with the Disney Renaissance movies, but I'll tell you one thing. My favorites out of there, well, one is pre-Renaissance. That would be Oliver and Company. I like that movie. I liked, like, The Rescuers Down Under as a kid. I mean, I watched Mermaid and Aladdin as a kid, but I don't have much nostalgia for them. I don't know. There's other things I like more than Disney and Pixar. I've never seen them as the be-all, end-all of children's animation, you know?
AngeloFDust337 sent a super chat. I feel like most stories comment on or subvert chosen one narratives than actually play them straight at this point.
Yeah, and then eventually it'll circle back around and someone will do an honest-to-God, earnest chosen one story, and then eventually it'll get deconstructed again. That's cycles. Hey, Skrill, welcome. You missed the Steven Universe rant, sadly, but I'll probably be editing that one down, because holy fucking shit. Right now, Bubbs is talking about chosen ones and is bringing up a healing tears trope instead that has nothing to do with chosen one narratives. I'm so confused still, again.
Or Rapunzel's bravery and selflessness in choosing to submit to Gothel if it means being able to save her true love. Insert Sora, Donald, and Goofy sadly watching the scene from the window. That's me.
I find out you're a Lily fan, Bubbs. I'm coming for your ass.
POV, for real, for real.
Lily made the same point!
But Mulan saved China because she was a genuine girl boss. No magic needed, like the weird chi thing that they did in the stupid remake that they filmed.
Yeah, it's also a classic folk tale. So... This is Bubbs. They released this video a month ago, and just looking at the thumbnail, I felt it was kind of off, and it is just kind of off. Again, I don't think they're making these points in bad faith, per se. I think they're trying to make good faith arguments, but their examples are just really confused, you know? I don't know where you're trying to go with any of this. You know, I'm not like... Again, they're not like a Lily or a Limus or an Artiste, but it's still kind of like, you gotta get out of this weird Zoomer mentality that everything needs to be a morality play that teaches you life lessons. Like, that's not the point of art. Art doesn't need to tell you your values back at you. Art should challenge you, in fact, sometimes.
Bylonic sent a super chat. Something you have to keep in mind with Enchanto is that it's very inspired by the writing genre of magical realism. You have to understand that before dissecting it.
It's magical realism, and it also operates exactly like a stage musical, which is probably why I like it. Encanto is the first Disney movie in, like, a fucking decade I really, really, really like. I love Encanto. I've seen it like 5 times.
Miss Jasmine sent a super chat. I'm confused. These characters aren't chosen ones.
I think they're saying these are a good counter to the Chosen One, but they haven't set up what's wrong with the Chosen One trope first. So, like, the script needed a few more drafts.
Lisa Harder sent a super chat. Whispers, guys. I don't think Bubbs understand tropes.
No, I don't either. All of these points. Oh yeah, young girl man. Encanto's very good. Encanto's very good. It's a good time. It's a good musical. I think it's some of the best songs Lin-Manuel Miranda ever did. It's so fucking good. Everybody watch Encanto. Go into it. Don't go into it with any big expectations. It's mostly a movie about a family. So put all like the magical realism out of your mind. I don't think they didn't advertise it well. Encanto is very good. And also Mirabel is Stephanie Bertice. So, you know, same VA as Vaggie. She was in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I believe. So, and God, her singing in that is so good. I'm almost to the point where I'm like, what the fuck are you doing with Vaggie in Hazbin Hotel? I think she pitches her voice down too deep with Vaggie. She doesn't sound right when she sings in Hazbin Hotel. I don't know what's going on there.
Filmed next to concentration camps. Gee, I love that Disney is so obviously and genuinely evil.
You just wanted to make a comment about the live-action Mulan that everybody already forgot about, okay? Oh, We Don't Talk About Bruno's a great song, though. We don't talk about Bruno, no, no, no.
But they are too big of a monopoly to stop them, including with laws against monopolies. Anyways, it's also oftentimes hard to relate to the conflicts that these characters are going through because plenty of these stories are just showing the characters suffering from success. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that we can't relate to the struggles of super people or half-demon princes or mega-powerful mages of light because they just so happen to be supernatural. Magical powers have not and will never get in the way of my finding a sense of familiarity with Sora or Okarun or Megami or any other anime boy that I identify with. However, if the struggles of the characters start to revolve almost solely around whether they can use their power responsibly, I feel like I start to lose the grip of the character in some instances.
Why? Because, like, powers like that don't exist in real life, so no matter how fantastical a story gets, even if it doesn't star any human characters, even if it's elves and vampires and furries or something, we're still writing about humans. Because what the fuck other point of reference do we have? You know? Yes. Yeah, and like, you can take the values of a character like Superman, and you can apply that to your own life. Being responsible with the power you have. You know, being a good person despite having the capacity for harm. You know, choosing to be a good person. Because we all have the capacity to abuse and to harm and to do bad things. It's a choice to be good. And that's what characters like Superman tell us on just a more fantastical scale, you know?
Is like, oh darn, your hero chose you to inherit his powers, making literally all of your dreams come true in one action. But yeah, I guess it's kind of tough that you need to actually commit to the hard work you agreed to do, and also have wanted to do your whole life. I feel.
Didn't you start this out saying that characters need to earn their positions? And now you're complaining that he has to earn it? I haven't seen Boku no Hero, so I'm only going by what Bubbs just described it as. But Bubbs, you're complaining that he earns it now, after complaining that chosen ones don't earn it. What? Bubbs, this needed 3 more drafts! Oh, the hell just happened? YouTube just crashed on me.
And secondly...
No! Does that sometimes. Okay, let's continue to not even talk about chosen ones. So Deku's not even a chosen one narrative. As far as I know about Boku no Hero, he was born without a quirk, right? So how is he a chosen one? Just because he was chosen to be the protege of his hero? That's not a chosen one. Usually a chosen one is someone born with a special destiny. They're chosen by fate. They're born with a special power or a special lineage. So he's not even really a chosen one. He's the protege to his hero who is earning the right to inherit that. So, this is not a chosen one narrative. What are you talking about? I haven't even seen the fucking anime! I only know things secondhand from people I know who are into it, and I'm still, like, picking up on this.
John Williams sent a super chat. Needing to learn control one's own power is often meant to represent something else, Bubbs.
Yeah. So, even though it's in a fantastical setting, these things don't exist in real life, so the lessons you can take from it, and the ideologies you can take from it, and the message you can take from it, you know, you gotta scale those down to real life.
Oh darn, your hero chose you to inherit his powers, making literally all of your dreams come true in one action. But yeah, I guess it's kind of tough that you need to actually commit to the hard work you agreed to do.
So he earns it
and
through
also
hard
have
work.
wanted to do your whole life. I feel so stupid.
So he earns it through hard work. You can desire to do something your whole life and get there, but it's still work. You have to work to fulfill your dreams. You could get your dream job, but you still have to work. What do you mean? This point is so confusing. Especially when you started the saying chosen ones don't earn it, and now you're saying, this kid that got chosen by his hero has to earn it. So that's bad too. What?
Super bad for you, I guess. I'm not saying it can never make sense, of course, and I absolutely empathize with the concept of people expecting a really high standard from you, even if it's not realistic. But the thing is, this isn't a very good one-to-one equivalence to draw with any skills people have in real life.
No shit, because it's a fantastical thing that doesn't happen in real life, and so you, the viewer, have to take that and figure out how to apply it to your own life if you want to take a message or a lesson away from it. And I mean, Boku no Hero, I would assume, does have sort of life lessons in it, because it is a show for teenagers, and preteens, right? It's a shonen. So, like, okay, Fenny Kagegame's got me. He's a chosen one because he shares All Might's mentality. Also, All Might is also quirkless. It's implied that the only quirkless person like Deku could handle one for all. Okay, so the strongest power is being an ordinary person. That is such a normal message in superhero things. And Boku no Hero is definitely like a superhero shonen anime.
Master Clockwork sent a super chat. I'm starting to get a headache.
Yeah. I'm glad we skipped the harem section. Again, I don't think any of us would disagree, but...
Not a smart 5th grader expected to be bringing home A's. You're an adult who was named immortal for a reason. Granted, I don't know what it's like to—
Why are we suddenly talking about Immortal from Invincible after talking about, like, a baby show for babies, which is Boku no Hero?
Isn't a very good one-to-one equivalence to draw with any skills people have in real life. You're not a smart 5th grader expected to be bringing home A's. You're an adult who was named immortal for a reason.
Why are we suddenly talking about Invincible? What is this segue? What?
Granted, I don't know what it's like to be immortal, or to be able to fly around, or to have superhuman strength, but I do know that my existence would probably be better served helping people that are not immortal, or able to fly around, or have superhuman strength, than to run off and go into hiding with my fiancé who is almost 1,000 years younger than me.
So you just wanted to bitch about the age gap relationship in Invincible, just in the middle of your Chosen One section? You should have just edited that out. What was even the point of that, since you just wanted to snipe at Duplicate and Immortal being in a relationship in an adult series?
Vale Munoz sent a super chat. I'm pretty sure Bubbs was brainwashed by Lily.
I'm not getting total went to the school of Lily Orchard here, but there's been a few things that do seem like really Lily-ass takes.
Nerdy Nora sent a super chat. I don't think she knows what the Chosen One trope is. Having a protege is not a Chosen One.
I agree. Also, Bubbs is they, them. I understand the confusion, though, because of the appearance of their soda and their voice. But, what was I gonna say? That's being chosen to be the apprentice of someone. That's not a chosen one.
John Williams sent a super chat. Immortal isn't his real name.
No, well, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I don't think it's out of pocket to just call superheroes by their superhero names, you know? I think that's normal. I don't have any problem with that.
I liked you better when you were a gay man in the zombie show, Mr. Markand. Also, yes, I'm going—
So you just wanted to bitch about the age gap relationship between Duplicate and Immortal, and then point out he was also an actor on The Walking Dead. You could have made, like, 3 different videos out of this, you know? Like, why did you cram all this into one freaking video that isn't even about art tropes? Only one of these sections was actually about visual arts and character design. What?
Invoicing Emu sent a super chat. Having a power is not the Chosen One trope either.
Yeah. I mean, chosen ones are usually chosen by destiny or prophecy or lineage. You know, that's a chosen one. It'd be like, King Arthur is a chosen one. Or, Harry Potter, I think people were also bringing up as a chosen one. It's just conveniently, they are the one who was destined to solve everything, you know, just because. You know, because an old witch made a prophecy at some point, or whatever, or the gods are manipulating their fate, or whatever the fuck.
Dana_Brain sent a super chat. No, Patrick, having superpowers isn't a chosen one either.
Yeah, this, again, even just from the thumbnail, it was just so off. Like, what tropes are you even depicting? And it's like, I don't think you even understand these tropes you're talking about. You certainly don't understand a lot of the shows you're talking about. It's so confused. Are you gonna talk about chosen ones as an actual trope at all? You know? I guess the section is called Supernaturally Gifted Protagonist, but we haven't talked about a single supernatural person yet. Deku was born quirkless. Immortal's like the only one so far, and you just wanted to bitch about him getting together with Duplicate and nothing else. You didn't make a point.
Cryohazard sent a super chat. If I had a nickel for every time Invincible was used as an example, I'd have 2 nickels. Which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
I still gotta finish Season 2 and watch Season 3. I have seen a whole video on the whole comics plot, though, so I kind of vaguely know where it's going.
Master Clockwork sent a super chat. I can't tell if they would love or hate Megamind.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, a bunch of my Zoomer friends made me watch Megamind, I think, like, last year, and I was like, holy shit, this movie was really good. Like, it was advertised terribly. I didn't realize it was so genuinely fucking funny. It was a good time. Because they were like, you've never seen Megamind, oh my god!
Going to be more harsh towards the immortal for his actions than Mark, and it's not because of Steven Yeun bias. At least not entirely. I don't know why so many viewers of Invincible act like they
Okay, Steven Yeun bias is based, though.
they are on even ground in terms of the level of responsibility that they should be able to handle when Mark started off the series as a part of the teen team. The teen team.
Wouldn't Mark be a chosen one? Kind of, by lineage? Since his dad, like, always intended to bring him into the Viltrumite mentality. Eventually. Kind of, so vaguely, if you really want to stretch the definition.
Team guys, you'll have to forgive me if I don't expect a teenager to have the same level of maturity of someone that's been kicking around for at least a millennium. Also, as of 3 minutes ago at the time of writing the script, I found out that Invincible is renewed for a 4th and 5th season, so I will be sitting pretty back on track.
Of course it is. It's been doing pretty well, and there's more comic to adapt, but you just wanted to bitch about Immortal and Duplicate. Just in the middle of this section for no reason. Why didn't you cut this out? Edit your scripts.
There is something to be said about the compellingness of a character that takes an impossible tasks not because they want to, but because they are the only one that can. That would be a very difficult reality to be in, to know that you're not allowed to live a normal life anymore because everyone else found out that you can be used for something. That's honest.
Well, I mean, that's not a chosen one, but like Commander Shepard would be an example. Come back to Mass Effect again. Someone who is the only one who can get the things done that need to get done, you know? But that's also a bit of a power fantasy in a way, you know? Being the one person who can do what's right and get things done, etc., you know?
Honestly, pretty tragic. And yes, that even goes for the Immortal, okay? I don't hate the guy entirely.
Why do you just keep talking about the Immortal? He's a fucking minor character in that show!
Being said, once again, I feel like it can really take away from the character. I like characters with lots of depth, and in situations like these, you end up with characters without much depth. Sure, it's not their fault in universe. They don't get a chance to develop themselves because they're treated as a tool and not a person. Still, as much as—
Give us an example of any chosen one who isn't developed as a character to give an example of your point? Because I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
That sucks. That doesn't mean it's fulfilling to read or watch or consume in general on my end, and this is only going to be worse if the character in question is the main character.
And again, we're back to their baseline being, well, I wouldn't do that. Well, I wouldn't do that, so no character should do that. It's bad writing. Like, no. Yeah, this is very shallow end media analysis.
Infinitely more invested in plot lines that focus on the Chosen One aspect actually bringing more problems to their lives than the super abilities could ever make up for. And not just in the form of how they're expected to use their powers to help people because it's the right thing to do. No, I mean like with how Aang was robbed of his childhood because his status of the Avatar was revealed to him far sooner than it was supposed to. And how people actively hunt him down so they could do genocide without his
And he's a chosen one, and he gets a lot of character development, so what is your point?
Gordon Lemon sent a super chat. Zoomer tax.
Yeah, please. All the Zoomers owe me taxes now for this fucking headache. He's a very well-developed character, and he's a chosen one, and he's the only airbender in the world, so he has a special power. I mean, it's literally in the title, The Last Airbender. So what point are you struggling your way to in this section? I am so confused and lost again.
Interference. That shit is actually a great way to handle the Chosen One kind of concept, at least for me, because in a lot of cases, revealing their supernatural powers is not something they can do most of the time if they want to be safe. The Chosen One main character has a habit of getting ridiculously overpowered to the point where it's not interesting to watch them do anything anymore, so putting limits on them is actually a really great way to keep the character dynamic.
And that was subverted by fucking One Punch Man, where he has the ultimate power, and yeah, it is boring. You know, that's kind of the point.
They can't just bust out their epic devil mode murder move anytime they want. So confrontations get to remain pretty tense, and they have to get creative and develop unrelated skills to get by. I guess my hero...
Watch Trigun. If that's what you want, watch Trigun, the original. You're literally describing Vash the Stampede right now.
Did get that right. At least in the beginning, I never watched anything past season 2. Womp womp. I don't know. Again, this one isn't...
No, so now you are admitting you're admitting that you will talk about shows you haven't watched to completion, so my theory that you didn't watch all of Steven Universe, or at least watched it a long-ass time ago and don't remember much, is going to be true.
Something that always annoys me. It just really holds the potential to make me annoyed. Yes, it's super hard that you can fly. Get over yourself. Do you know how much better my life would be if I could just fly around?
If you had to pick
it gives
bugs
me
out
the
of your
same
teeth,
vibes
though.
as those movies that are like, okay, but actually it's so hard being hot because everyone makes assumptions about me. I'm not saying hot people.
Example? And why wasn't this in your pretty protagonist, ugly villains section? That point would be more suited there. You seem to have forgotten what you're even talking about. By this point, you didn't even establish what chosen ones are before you gave examples of good chosen ones or counter examples of people who aren't chosen. Like, what are you even trying to say? This is a mess!
FNAFNoob21 sent a super chat. And don't listen to them. Also Zoomer and Bypass.
Aang, don't listen to them. They don't know what they're talking about, Aang, my good boy.
There Munoz sent a super chat. Whatever you say. Sigh. Here's also my Zoomer and Young Colombian tax. I need to save money, please.
Oh, don't give me money if you can't afford it, but thank you. I like how you guys always make up your own taxes to pay, too. And then you started doing it on other people's streams.
Can't or don't have problems, but having people treat you differently based on your appearance is not a unique problem for conventionally attractive people. Your problem is...
Why wasn't this in your pretty protagonist section? What are you talking about, Bubbs?
Being pretty, it's just misogyny. Okay, I've officially said the dreaded M word 3 times now, which means I probably summoned somebody bad, so let's wrap this thing up with a quick fan art feature. Jeez. I am going to show off 2 artists today who I both feel bad for because I just...
Was that just the end of the video? Okay. I guess let's look at their outro, I suppose. No, they summoned me with the Steven Universe rant that was wrong about pretty much everything they said. When did they ever say the Diamonds were a family? Gee, I don't know, maybe it's when Steven sang a whole fucking song about it.
And at long last, I'm done yapping. Thanks for sticking around this long, and I really hope that my general improvements for the channel were noticeable improvements. Obviously, I have a new intro.
Well, I will say this, Bubbs. I like your Sona, I like your art style, I really like your background, I like your use of color here. It's all very pleasing to look at, and your character is very dynamic. And you obviously had to do a lot of editing to get it like this, but your points are just really confusing, and I think you need to edit your scripts more. I think you need to go through a few more drafts. I think you need to be more selective about the topics you put in a video, because out of all of these, only one was an actual art trope, even though at the beginning you kind of said, well, I'm just kind of going with the naming convention, but even still... And then, the Chosen One section was just a complete nonsense. I don't even know what the hell point you were trying to make there. And we skipped the harem section, because I don't think any of us will disagree with that exactly. And also, I didn't want to play your entire video. I want people to go give you the views. Rapid onset, pre-mortem character growth, we kind of agreed on a bit of that, but you kind of fumbled that one, too. It's just... And your Steven Universe rant was just wrong. It was just wrong. So, yeah, this video was just kind of confusing, but I do like your art style, and I think you've done a good job with your little visual setup here. I think it's very nice.
Outro background, and I've got new talk sprites, but I hope you also noticed that I got a new mic.
So I was right. The beginning joke was, oh, I have a new talk sprite. Okay, that I was correct.
I have definitely noticed in the little bits that I've already edited. When I first started getting traction on this channel,
The little bits that you've already edited? That would also explain a lot. Did you start making and editing the video before you actually finished your script? and finished recording, because that would explain a lot about this. And that is some Lily Orchard / Just a Robot behavior right there. That is my biggest advice to you, Bubbs, at the end of this video. Please put your scripts through a few more drafts.
I told myself that it probably wasn't gonna go anywhere crazy, and the only point that I'd even start to think about investing back into it, like building more visual assets for myself and upgrading my equipment and such, was 30k, a number I chose because of its lack of realism to me at the time. And then I hit 30k, so I pushed it back to 50k.
Congrats.
But now I'm here with over 67k,
Congrats.
so the upgrades were a little overdue. If I can afford to be a little cheesy at the end of a rant.
Oh, geez, what? Maybe I should make you guys wait till I hit 50k before I do any visual updates again. I'm missing out.
To video like this, I am insanely thankful to you all for getting me this far. I know I say thank you a lot, but I really don't ever want to become one of those content creators that stops being grateful for my audience.
That's
you guys
reasonable,
are
yeah.
awesome, and I really
That's a
mean
good
that.
attitude.
You all are kind and thoughtful and supportive to each other and to me, and I really appreciate it. I can only hope that I can continue to foster this type of community, and I can't wait to make more stuff for you guys with my fancy new mic and my fancy new sprites. Enough sap. I'll let you go now. Until next time, make sure you drink plenty of water, consume some art that doesn't annoy you, and most importantly, remember that you matter.
I would say take your own advice on consuming art that doesn't annoy you. I mean, I'm just saying. All right, let's have a little wind down now. I'll put some music back on. I'll unpause the super chats.
Chipmanly93 sent a super chat. Real talk. How many chosen ones haven't earned their destined powers? Straight tax.
There's a few, I'm sure, but as narrative develops, it's been less common.
Scones and Jam sent a super chat. Flamio, Hotman.
Flamio, Hotman!
Lampast sent a super chat. This person should take a writing class. Also Zoomer tax.
Yeah, I mean, I can see they're getting there, but it's like...
Miss Jasmine sent a super chat. Their initial points are okay. Their examples suck.
Yeah, all the examples they gave were either confusing or didn't line up with what they were saying at all, and that's just kind of like... You know, maybe... No, actually, you don't need a writing class. You need classes in writing essays, and persuasive essays, I think.
Master Clockwork sent a super chat. I get vibes they world not care for Sailor Moon and I cannot abide.
I mean, all the bad guys are hot in Sailor Moon, though, but they do get redeemed a lot, it's true. Like, all of these tropes are in Sailor Moon, and they're well-worn tropes, but it is also a convention of the genre that Sailor Moon is. And Sailor Moon started a lot of those conventions. You know, so... I don't know, it just seems like typical Zoomer issues with seeing... I don't like how I drew her waistline here. Seeing all media as something that needs to be giving life lessons or reflecting their values and their personal politics back at them, instead of just being a story you absorb and observe and draw your own conclusions from. I mean, there's some works out there that don't even have a specific meaning, and they're not supposed to. Hell, I just got done playing The Cat Lady. Go watch the VODs if you're interested. Very good game, very depressing. No, it has a hopeful ending, but very, very dark game, very heavy game about mental illness and stuff, but a lot of it is abstract, and you kind of have to take away what you take away from it. You gotta decide what you think really happened, what was a dream, what was, you know, mind-rending supernatural shit, you know, if there was even any supernatural shit going on ever, you know, again, you have to think about that for yourself, and in the end, media is communication. Shows and games and movies, they're a form of communication. And if you're just sitting there going, well, I wouldn't do that. Well, I wouldn't do that, so it's not realistic. I wouldn't do that. You're kind of missing the point. You're not listening. You're not engaging with the text. If you go about it that way, it's like, well, these people in a zombie apocalypse are abusive and not acting in, like, the best way for society, and it's like, well, of course they fucking would. Society has broken down. That's the point. How would people behave if society broke down and survival was the paramount thing. That's like what every fucking post-apocalypse is about, really, you know? Sometimes a show or a movie will just present you with characters' actions with no narrative judgment one way or another, and you gotta decide for yourself how you feel about it, you know? And art should challenge you sometimes and make you think differently or at least consider a different perspective. And again, instead of just sitting there going, well, I wouldn't do that, so no one would do that, so this character shouldn't do that. You know, that's just a very counterproductive way to engage with media, I think, you know? And if you want to be a media analyzer, that is a very limiting way to go about it. So, that's really my issue here. But I don't think Bubbs is as bad as a Lily or a Limus or anyone like that, or an Artiste. They're trying, and I think they are arguing in good faith. They just haven't made very coherent arguments, you know? That's more of the issue here. It's like, your arguments are just kind of confused and all over the place, and, like, especially, like, at the end of the Chosen One section, you kind of forgot what the hell you were talking about. It just started talking about, like, people being attractive and feeling that's a bad thing, which really should have been in your earlier section. Like, again, you probably should have gone over this script a few more times and did a couple of more drafts and cut some things out and moved some things around. I mean, that's just it, really. But yeah, I could definitely see Bubbs improving at this craft. And like I said, they got a good setup, they got a good, you know, backdrop and talk sprites and stuff like that. I mean, and they got a pleasant speaking voice. They're articulate, but it's just, you know, half the time I don't even know what the hell point they were trying to make, you know? It's like, you're not being a very good communicator of ideas here. And it just seems a lot of it's up to your own biases and you're stuck in this mentality that every single piece of media has to be like a children's show and give you a Sailor Says at the end, telling you what the message and the point was, and if it's not telling you, like, the best way to live, then it's giving a bad message, but that's not necessarily true. You know? A show can depict things without telling you that these are good things you should apply to your own life, you know? And again, sometimes a movie or show doesn't tell you how to feel about something. It just presents to you a scenario, and you observe it, and you come to your own conclusions, you know? Like, it's just, I don't know, it's just a very ass-backwards way to approach media that really kind of sticks in my craw, you know? Again, I was mostly just slightly annoyed and confused. I wasn't really angry. I mean, I may play it up sometimes, but, you know, I'm streaming to entertain you guys, obviously. But, alright, we're pretty much done. A lot of times these reacts go to like 6 o'clock, but I think we're pretty much done. I am not streaming tomorrow, but I will be streaming Friday, because Friday the 19th is International Talk Like a Pirate Day. So I will be playing the Yakuza pirate game while talking like a pirate, because, I don't know, I thought it'd be funny. And on the 20th, we are going to do an episode discussion of Knights of Guinevere, because I think I want to start doing that. Cause somebody was asking me if I'd react to the episodes, and I was like, you know what, I think I'd rather do an episode discussion stream. So after each episode, I'll do a stream where we talk about the episodes that just came out, and I think I might do that for New Has-Been Hotel season as well, so it'll be like a new little series on my channel, because why the hell not? Sounds like fun. And then the 21st and the 22nd, I will be playing Soma, which is a great game. Please stay blind to it if you are. I would love to introduce you to that story. It's my favorite horror thing ever. And then 24th through the 4th, I will be going on a trip to see friends and family, so I'll be away for 10 days.
A super chat. I still don't understand what they hate about these tropes.
Yeah, they didn't really explain the tropes themselves and why, and then their examples didn't really illustrate it either. It's just a really confused video. You know, this is a really confused video. So yeah, so we'll be missing 2 Wednesday streams at the end of September, but then I will be back. I will be back, and we'll be having more gaming streams. I have a lot to do for October for spooky games. I'll be playing the Alan Wake series, which I love Alan Wake 1, but I have not played Alan Wake 2 or Control yet, so I will be blind to those. So that should be a fun-ass time. I will see if there's anybody I can redirect you guys to on YouTube. If I can't find anybody, I'll just send you to Dated again. So, thank you for joining me, guys. Thank you for your super chats. You guys were all very generous today, and you had a lot to say for yourselves, I'm sure. So, you remember that 21st night of September? That's something? I don't know. Anyway, I'll see you guys later.